Hey everybody, welcome back to Blades in the Dark. Been a little while, but here we are. So, if you don't remember what was going on last time we did this a few weeks ago, this crew decided they were going to try and finally take some turf of their very own and expand their headquarters out a little bit. They decided they wanted a piece of turf that would give them somewhere to make covert drops, to give them a connection that they could pass information to and get paid. That's the goal, right? Steal some information, sell it, get paid. So they split up into a couple different groups, and Luca and Sarge went to track down Needle, this crow agent that they had heard about. They got some information through their contacts at the Hive. The Hive sent them to meet up with somebody. They met
Josh,
up.
I'm not sure we're making any noise on Twitch.
Oh, really?
I don't know, you might just want to double check that.
It looks like we.
I might be wrong. You might just want to double check.
No, we got it. It looks like we're making noise.
We are?
Yep.
All right.
I just unmuted for a second. We're good.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yep. No, it's all good. If you can't hear us, say something.
I can't.
Yeah. I hope.
A silent board game is different from a silent role playing.
That's why I knew that we were silent with the board game, and I just wanted to make sure that.
Yeah, that would.
Like a silent movie, you know. We just.
That's right.
It would be it would be less good. So I'm glad that. Yeah, I hope everyone hears us.
Please tell us if you don't hear us.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't hear that to tell us.
Right. I mean, yeah, you can. It's fine. Sorry, now I'm just looking at Twitch and making sure everything
I was muted.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
You're muted. Okay, cool. All right. So, what do I want to do here? All right. Wait a minute. Hang on. Okay, this is all. Everything's fine. Why can't I see the? There it is. Aha. Okay. Anyway. Come back. Why is this doing this? I'm sorry, everyone. This is the worst episode ever. Come on.
No, we've got way worse. We're rusty.
I'm glad I ruined something for you. I don't know what.
No, it's all fine. Okay. Anyway, we're all good now. All right. So they found out somebody from the Crow. They went and talked to them, met up with them at the bar, and got some information about this Needle guy. So Luca and Sarge went to track down Needle, this Crow agent, while Puka and Cricket were off casing Brandon's butcher shop because that is where the turf they're hoping to get is. Or it's somewhere in Brandon's. So it looked like a normal butcher shop. It had a very modest selection. Didn't really seem to, I don't know, seemed kind of weird. And the butcher was not friendly, I wouldn't say.
Kuka was coming on to him.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm too strong.
Was kind of suspicious of them from the get-go, and then ended up throwing some cleavers at them.
Kuka took one.
Yeah, Kuka did take a cleaver, and has it. And they also realized while they were there, Puka got a sense that something weird is going on below Brandon's. It's sort of this weird. There's some kind of weird disruption in the ghost field down there, some kind of void that is strange. And yeah, the cleaver had some kind of magic residue on it that Puka sensed. So something weird's going on underneath there. Meanwhile, Luca and Sarge found Needle's place. The crew already knew that Needle comes and goes out a back door into Brandon's, has a key, get in and gets out, goes in, stays for a while, comes out again, sometimes shows up other places in the city if people can be believed. And so they found Needle's house, were able to get in the back window after some application of grease. And some other repairs were made. So they got in.
Leave it better than you found it.
Exactly. They were searching Needle's place when Needle happened to get home. which presented an opportunity. So
Needle had a really bad day.
yeah, they roughed up Needle pretty good. Stole his keys. Tried to convince him to not do it anymore. Sarge crafted a beautiful note and left it.
And he was carrying a dead bird in his pocket the whole time.
Yeah, dead crow.
He had a dead crow just in case he needed one to make a point. And they did find, so they opened a trunk that was in his room, which was rigged to burn up anything that was in it. But they did manage to swipe some documents and save some out of the fire, which had some Hive symbols on them. So they took those, took some coin and a couple knives, and made their way back out, avoiding the Blue Coat Patrol that had showed up in the neighborhood. And then that was where we wrapped up, and we were coming back to discuss kind of what happens after this thing that turned into a little bit of a mini score. Yeah, whoops. We made a score.
Yay!
Unintentionally. So that's where we were at, I believe. I think that's about everything from last time.
Are we doing downtime actions and everything, or?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we making this a proper show? Cause like, did we do? I don't remember. Did we do rep and everything?
Yeah, so
I think we did, yeah.
Yeah,
we did we did all the good stuff, I think. Now we need to do the bad stuff.
Yeah, and so that was going to be
downtime.
my question is there will be potentially some heat stuff. But I'm going to leave it up to you guys as to whether you want to take a true downtime or not. And you can wait and see what happens with the heat before you decide if you want. Because this would all be stuff that's like, oh, here's sort of the direct result of what we did. Are we concerned enough that we want to deal with this and take some time before we do whatever we're doing next? Or do we want to just jump right in and go after this?
Let's do the heat stuff first and see where that lands us. Yeah. And if we decided we need to take a little time.
We'll see where we get with that. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's see what's up with old Gusk.
Guskamoose.
What's going on, Gusk? All right. So right now, heat. So, I mean, this was overall like a pretty quiet thing.
Except for you left him, right?
Except for that.
With the dead bird.
But he's not dead.
He's not dead.
Heat. So like, it's a trade-off.
So you
We had
didn't.
to send a message.
So you didn't murder anybody.
Yeah, we needed to send a message.
But you did need to send a message. So, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, do you guys feel like this was smooth and quiet and low exposure, or contained and kind of standard?
I'd say contained and standard, because between us roughing the guy up and Puka and Cricket having cleavers thrown at them, I think there's at least like an acknowledgement that we might have ruffled a few feathers somewhere along the way.
But it didn't get crazy.
Yeah, no, it didn't get nuts. That's
No.
All right.
That's for tonight.
So two heat.
2 heat.
Yeah, the standard 2 heat for old Gusk. Because I don't think. I mean, it wasn't super high profile. It was not on hostile turf. You're not at war with anybody. You didn't kill anybody. So none of those extra things.
Ruined somebody's life.
I mean, things aren't going well for Needle.
That happens every day in this town.
That's true.
Yeah, it does.
That is true.
Of course.
All right, so you guys are heat 4 right now. That's cool. Oh, look at that.
Well, that's good, right?
We'll take the better one.
That is, yes, we're keeping the low result, which is the one that you want. Yes.
That's good.
For heat, you want low.
Roll twice
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we're slippery.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was twice. I thought 3 and 1 was twice.
It's a 2d6
Oh, you
keep
rolled
below.
again.
So, yeah, I mean,
Oh, okay.
it's not
Can
going
we
to get
do
any better.
No, it's
I'd
not.
say that's as
Yeah.
simple as it can
It
get.
doesn't get any better than one.
Double ones was like the best. I didn't know if double ones was a thing.
Like
It's
critical.
Right.
Well, it's
Critical
just
failure.
we're only keeping one die anyway.
Fine.
Let's keep it one
Critical
then.
fail. Okay. So, let's see. Hmm. Okay. 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 Let's see. Is it gonna be this guy?
Was that another one?
Yep.
Great. That's great. Right?
Nope. Not in this case.
We'll take the 4 then.
Oh wait, is this an entanglement?
This is an entanglement, yes.
Is this where we're supposed to be rolling twice? It says when you roll entanglements.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, roll twice and keep the one you want.
Then this is okay. Then this is your entanglement roll.
Well, the best
All right.
or the worst?
You want the 1 or the 1?
We'll go with the first one.
Okay.
Why is the entanglements roll 2 and keep the lower?
Because this is, or actually, let's see. Let me make sure I'm doing this. Oh wait. Oh no. So sorry. The other one I did was the entanglement roll. That's the one that determines what happens. This one is just another thing. Sorry. Yeah. No, we did it for the right one. The roll on your on the heat chart is the entanglement roll.
Okay.
This is just something that determines what happens with this particular thing that
I see.
was caused by that other thing.
The other thing.
Okay, so here is what happens. Let me see. I gotta peek at some character sheets here.
That's not good.
What? It'll be fine.
I mean, no, fine. It just doesn't mean it's good.
That's a maybe. I'm just peeking at some things here.
Looking at some rivals.
No. Okay. Oh, that's good. So, you guys hear through sort of town or city gossip that a physiker named Weaver got picked up by the Bluecoats because word got out that she was paid to treat a felon named Needle. And while she was treating him, he was kind of delirious and rambled a little bit. And so the Bluecoats, following up on that, dragged Weaver in for some questioning. And she talked a little bit about what this fella said. So you have a little bit more heat coming your way because they got some information that might lead them back your way. So I marked that off for you. So you're up to
more heat?
Yep, you're up to 6 now.
Yeah, we need to do something about that.
Well, luckily we made that easier on ourselves.
You did. You made it easier to deal with heat. So that's good. So yeah, so you know that the Bluecoats are at least aware of what's going on. Checked into what happened to this Needle fella, and if they see you out and about, they might be keeping an eye, a little closer eye than they were.
We'll knock them off too at some point.
Taking out the Bluecoats. Yeah. So yeah, now it's up to you guys if you want to take a full downtime, and do some stuff, or how you want to move forward towards your score here.
It'd be good to reduce some heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the thing to do right now.
Take some of that heat off.
Yeah. And some of us have some projects to finish.
There are some projects. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah?
Well, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's take a little time.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got some downtime. So you got, let's see, and you guys have some downtime bonuses too, don't you?
Yeah.
You got some
Yeah.
extra things. But yeah, when you're doing training, you got some extra stuff.
And when we reduce
And
heat,
when
we
you
add
reduce heat, you got some bonuses to that.
an extra
Cool.
die, extra D.
All right. So who's doing? We got acquire asset, long-term projects, recover, reduce heat, train, or indulge vice.
I'm gonna go reduce some heat on us.
Take some heat off.
I feel like it's part of my my responsibility to the crew is to keep the heat down. So yeah,
If you're
I'll
gonna
go try to do that.
you're gonna step up and make everybody follow your grand vision.
I mean, that's what I got to do, right?
I'll look out for them.
Yeah.
All right.
I forget how we do this though.
So what we've usually been doing with you, if you want to keep doing this kind of the same thing, is we've been doing the consort. So you've been going and like talking to your connections out on the street, and help spread information around and kind of get people off your trail. I mean, that's not the only way to do it, but that's kind
clearly
of
this Needles guy was nuts. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
we weren't anywhere. We don't even operate in Crows. We're over there in Coleridge or wherever the hell we operate in. I don't know where we operate.
He was probably hallucinating.
Yeah.
Who knows what could be going on?
Charter Hall, that's where we operate. Yeah. We weren't near this neighborhood.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, make your standard consort roll.
But we get what is the extra? So the extra die is that add one extra die. Is that how you do it? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Bonus
Yeah, you
dice.
get plus one die.
All right. Last time I did this, I didn't do it very well.
You did pretty well.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah,
Did you give yourself an extra die?
Yeah, so I'm just one die with consorting, so the extra die.
And do you reduce any additional heat, or you just get the extra die on it? Is that?
Yeah, it's just the extra die.
Okay. So yeah, so you'll reduce 3 heat.
Reduce. Yeah. 3 heat?
Yeah.
I mean, that'll work.
Got that 6 in there. So yeah, cut it in half with some well-placed words that make their way back to the circles that the Bluecoats run in somehow. I think, well, yeah, maybe he wasn't all there.
No, that guy. When you get in the business too long, you just get sometimes you get too deep into it, and you just don't. Yeah.
And he probably took some knocks in the head. Whatever happened to him, like, who knows? Hard to rely on what he was saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so that's one thing for Luca. Yeah.
Puka will go ahead and continue working on his memory fade.
Yep.
Thing he's creating, which is a study roll. Okay. And there you go.
Nice.
We only needed one, and they got more than one.
Yeah, so that's 3 segments on your clock.
I'll take the one I needed.
All right. Figure out how to make the thing.
The memory fade crystal.
Yep. Now we just got to
Now
start.
you got to make it.
Yep. I just got to find the right crystal.
That's right. That's right.
And then figure out how to get the magic in it.
That's also right.
He'll do it though.
It's all magic.
Clock then.
185.
What's up?
What's his next clock then?
Making
Yeah,
one?
so yeah, I don't know how long. Like, I think we actually have a few things to figure out. But yeah, like how long it takes to make, and I think basically the tier level. I forget what they call the magnitude.
Yeah, there's all like, yeah.
We don't need to figure that out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be like the standard 8 segment clock to make the thing, representing that, finding the crystal, figuring out how to actually infuse it, taking it, like actually doing the work.
Yeah.
Doing the proper wards and things like that. I imagine that there's some kind of spiritual warding as part of it. We can figure out the particulars of what it is, but gotta be careful with that spirit stuff,
Great.
Can't just wing it. Yeah, like if Cricket wings it, he might blow off a finger or two. Building his little explosive devices. If you wing it, a ghost might take over your body.
That could be bad.
Cool. All right, Sarge or Cricket, what are you guys doing for your first thing?
I'm reducing heat.
Reducing heat. Okay. How does Sarge go about that?
Well, we stole Needle's knives. So I feel like those would be good to plant somewhere else. To sort of make it look like somebody else had roughed him up than us.
Okay.
And I think that just for the maximum fuckery, having the crows go after one of their own.
Oh, so try to find a crow to drop these near and make it look like there was some internal strife there.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So are you gonna try to get it on a person, or are you just gonna try to get it at a place? Because I think finesse would be trying to get it planted on a person.
What I've done previously is trying to get into place.
Yeah, prowl would be get to a place, unseen, drop them off, get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I've been doing, so I think that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Cool. Yeah, then go ahead and do a prowl.
Okay.
There's like a cutscene of me saying, "Yeah, so I heard over at this place they found this."
Yeah.
And then we see Sarge like, "Yeah, you should check that out."
Yeah.
And Sarge is, you see Sarge like dropping weapons on the ground.
All right. So you find another spot, after asking around a little bit and kind of sneaking around, following a few people around. You identify a crow who might be a good target, and figure out where would be a good spot to drop them off. And of course, like, keeping your ear to the street. This other crow's denying it up and down. Like, no, that there's no way. Like, I don't know how those got there. But it takes 2 heat off you.
Yeah.
All right.
As it causes enough confusion within the crows that, I don't know, they're having a hard time figuring out what to think right now.
Perfect. They needed some more stress.
Yep. Cool.
So what does Sarge do when he gets back from that?
He goes to relax.
All right, well, he's relaxing, sitting in the sofa or something. Cricket's coming up and whistling and takes his tape measure across your shoulders and down your arm, and he's like tailoring, like lifting your arm. He doesn't, just whistling, doesn't say anything.
I say, what are you doing?
Oh, don't mind me. And you just see this table too is just covered with like crap. And I mentioned at some point, like, man, sure would be nice to have like a workshop so I didn't have to take over the table like this. But yeah, he's wrapping up the final measurements and things on the Zippity Zap.
Yeah. Just swept all the notes off the table and replaced it with all his pieces and parts. Like, don't move
Puka
any of
might
this
be
stuff.
down at his end too, doing some studying or something. So
he's getting excited. He just finished up his plans, and yeah,
he's been making drawings and things over there. Well, Cricket's like
impeding on each other's space.
Yep.
A workshop would be really handy.
So I am tinkering to finish the craft.
Okay.
I get +1 result level. So crap. Do I just roll tinker?
Yeah.
Standard? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Standard tinker.
Ugh.
All right. But it gets bumped up 1, right?
Bumped up a level,
yeah. So you'll get 2 segments on your clock instead of 1.
All right. Yeah, I only needed 1.
Well,
can I put the next segment into restarting the project?
Let's see. How does that work? I think.
Or do I just finish it up?
Yeah, I think when you finish the clock, it's just
done.
Finishes that one, and cool. And then you start a new one.
All right, so I come back over to Sarge and say, "I've got this like contraption. I'm like, do you mind?"
What does it do?
What does it do? So here's what you do, and then so I start putting the thing over his shoulders like a little backpack that
straps and
it fits under your vest there. I made it so that it, and then we just run this down your sleeve, and I start reaching into your shirt and like threading something down your shirt, and then kind of like this little like thing that I don't know, straps onto your hand, just like maybe just like a little ring that goes around.
Is this like an Iron Man blaster?
I wish. No, so what you do here is you tap it right here, an awkward hand motion, right, to hit that button. So it's not just something you're gonna accidentally.
Like that?
And then these two spots right here will just emit a nice pulse of energy that should stun anybody who you touch with that. So be careful.
Stun or kill?
Stun.
Can I turn it up?
I'm not supposed to be killing people, so I just want to make sure that you're not giving.
Right. That's the idea. So you can sneak up and just if you hit them, and I'll show them a couple spots.
If I start killing more people, unless he says that I can, and then
try and get them on the an exposed part on like their neck or something. If you can. Head will work, face will do it. If you hit them on the arm, I can't promise that. Heart should be okay. I don't know. Might kill him. I don't know. Josh and I didn't go through the details, but should put him down long enough so we could, gag him and tie him.
So I should just hit him in the throat with this?
That's the idea.
Yep.
I can do that.
And
wait, do I do that, or do I just hit him right in the throat?
So I assume there's like some way that I designed that you have to like hit this button to like activate right?
it. Yeah, provide the charge, and then the charge gets discharged whenever he contacts somebody with it.
And it's not going to be like a common hand motion that you would do. Like you might have to like reach the I don't know what makes sense, but I invented it a couple sessions ago. I thought a lot about it. What's that?
This thing's built.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was invented over a while and built over a while. It's been, You've seen this stuff on the table for a little while.
So this is ready to go then?
Yeah.
All right. So what do I do again? You said it doesn't kill.
Doesn't kill him. No. Unless you. No, I probably shouldn't say that. Yeah, it shouldn't kill them.
Have you tested this?
Yeah, and to some degree. Not on an actual human.
So did you test this?
Yeah.
I found random comment, baby.
I mean, I zapped myself just a little bit, but you know, I did some calculations. I turned it up a bit, and you know.
But can I zap you?
No, that would hurt.
I don't know if you said it doesn't kill him, so I figured that.
No, yeah, it hurts.
Well, how do you know? If you
It might leave minor brain damage. I'm not sure.
All right, I'll test it on someone else.
Yeah.
I can't wait to figure out which member of the crew he accidentally slapped on the back first.
Right.
After turning it on.
Too.
Like, hey! Oh, whoops.
How long does the stay charged once I start it?
I give an answer. I don't know.
Like
10 seconds.
Like a couple seconds?
I would say like 10 seconds would be about right. Yeah. It stays active.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you wanted to make it so that it doesn't just stay on until used for safety purposes, then yeah,
not a knife that you take it out. I have to draw blood before I put it back in the sheath.
Yeah, you can say the charge dissipates after 10 seconds, and you got to re-up it.
Yeah, that would be dangerous. The Sarge went on one of his benders one night. And then it just stayed on the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's got I think it's got some downsides that, you know, maybe the DM and I need to discuss at some point, but
yeah,
don't worry about those.
Yeah, it's fine.
Don't worry about that.
Figure that out later.
I want to explain them to you though, so.
Yeah, yeah, we can chat about that one.
Yeah. If it gets used tonight, I don't know. I mean, quality level, I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Drawback, I mean, we could say it has a finite use or a recharge time or something like that. If
recharge time.
Yeah, I think it would make sense that it carries a certain number of, like, you can use it a certain number of times and then it's out until you bring it back in, get it connected up, and
some more plasm or whatever.
Yeah, get some more ghost blood in it.
Okay.
Cool.
We'll be good.
All right.
Well, neat. Well, thank you, Cricket.
No problem.
Trying this out.
Yeah. I look forward to.
What do I call this thing?
Oh, I mean, whatever you want. I mean, he kind of blushes. I call it a zippity zap, but you know, if you want to call it something else, I understand.
You can tell Cricket as a child.
Zippity zap. It's a toy.
Is a child.
It's a toy.
That's why it's called the zippity zap. Yeah.
My daughter actually named it.
This is definitely before they put warning labels on toys or cared if they could cause serious injury.
I'm gonna make her one next. Yep.
Cricket's gonna invent some jarts next. Okay. Go play with these kids. All right, cool. Well, that's one for everybody. So everybody's got at least one more. Heath's down to one, so that's looking pretty good.
Yeah, so on my after I've been around town just trying to take some heat off, like I feel like I'd be starting to head back to the hideout, and then I've been a little stressed out lately, and so I walk past there's a gambling hall across the street, and I'm like, I mean, I need to go work on, I just kind of gravitate over towards it, and I think I go on one of these gambling binges tonight.
Yeah, just really wanted
to
blow some money. Yep.
Yeah, I gotta take a little, and while I'm in there, my thought is, listen, every other vice everybody has, I'm justifying it. I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna try to talk us up a little bit, take the heat off, start talking about the Legion and all this stuff. I'm really then I just get totally sidetracked by all the gaming going on.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean,
Yeah,
it's hard to resist.
Right, it's just hard to resist.
Yep.
Indulge my vice. So I've never actually done this before. So do I just click the indulge vice button? Is that the one
That
you just
should
click?
do it. Yeah.
Yep.
And
All
it should
right.
just roll your lowest attribute rating.
All right. Let's do it then. Let's see how well. Let's see what I do tonight.
Okay. Yeah.
So get rid of 4
So you'll see your
stresses.
4
Go
stress.
down 4. Yep.
1, 2, 3. Great. Okay, that's better.
Yep.
Good. Because I was up to 7, so I figured that I might need to. Yeah. Y'all didn't really notice it, but I've been a little tense lately. Yeah. I didn't really notice it either at first, and I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. So. Yeah. That's what I do with some of my time is
Gamble.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Do you leave your guns?
I never leave my pistols. My pistols are always on me. Now, my rifle, I like leave it like just propped up in a corner. I don't usually walk around town with that, but
Not practical.
like my trench coat, I keep the pistols like in the back. So
Okay.
they're I always consider that part of my load when I go out.
Yep. When you get back, I've got your rifle like taken apart on the table, and I'm starting to like fit different things to it. So,
Perfect.
yep, I'm working on a new invention.
Okay.
Wait,
I don't know if it pisses you off.
What are you? Well, it doesn't piss me off, but I am curious. Like, what is this? What are you doing, Mike?
It's your rifle. Oh, yeah. I was thinking I could make it quieter, like real quiet.
Oh. You mean you can make it silent?
I mean, I would say
Like
pretty close to silent.
Silent?
I don't know what you're talking about, but but yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll call it that, a silencer.
Like more silent.
A silencer?
Yeah.
A silencer.
Right. Silencer. Yeah, silencer. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I start working on a silenter.
Silenter.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Luke, I imagine like Luke has come back from this and he just like looks at it and he's like, all right, whatever. Have a good time. Try not to break anything.
Okay.
It'll be great.
And I go to bed.
So my idea was not to like make like the silencer, but like actually change the propulsion mechanism to like either like magnets or electroplasm or something. Yeah, basically a railgun.
You're turning his rifle into a railgun.
Yeah, that's kind of the thought. Something along. So it's a non-combustion based.
Okay, so it doesn't have
of,
the So you're not trying to dissipate the combustion gas. You're changing it entirely into
something different. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's the goal.
So you're starting.
I have something called electroplasmic ammunition on my character sheet. I don't know if everybody has that. I have that in my little gray box.
No, what is that? Already have silent bullets or something?
I don't know if that plays into your whatever you're doing to my gun because
I mean,
I bet Luca has never actually used his electroplasmic ammunition. Like he probably I picked this up in a store one time and it was like kind of a buy one get one free type thing, and he just kind of like got it, and then it's like sitting on a shelf in his room that he's never used before.
What does that electroplasmic ammunition do? Does it like shoot ghosts?
I have no idea. I'm assuming it's a ghost killing thing, which is again why Luca would probably have never used it before.
So one consideration I had was actually just changing the ammunition, right, and rather than the gun itself. Maybe even leaving the combustion element, but adding like some of that silence powder, and then just get accosted by ghosts, as necessary.
Okay.
So that was another consideration.
So electroplasmic ammo. You have a bandolier of it. It has an electrical charge, so it can stun a person, but doesn't do does very little real harm. If you hit it several times, it might incapacitate a human, but it's especially reactive in the ghost field. So it is potent against spirits. So if you want to shoot ghosts, Electroplasmic ammunition is the step to use.
So he can shoot non-lethal, right? Is what you're
Yes.
saying?
Yeah. If he shoots it at a person, it's going to stun them with a couple hits. Or the one hit is enough to stun them. It might completely incapacitate them with a couple, but it's not going to kill them, most likely. But yeah,
Less lethal.
but it draws a lot of attention in the ghost field because it hits spirits for quite a wallop.
Yeah, I just imagine that the only way Luca found this out was at some point, like Puka or Cricket were like, they saw it and they were like, "Oh shit, you got some of that just hanging in your room." And like,
maybe that's what I'm like.
yeah,
I asked Puka,
I
"What are
the
these?"
pawn shop last week. I don't know what it does, and then y'all like start talking about it. I'm like, "Oh, really?" Yeah, I mean that's the way I figured Luca found out about it because like I said, I'm certain Luca has never used this before in his life.
That is weird. Yeah, these weird like glowing bullets, and I thought I'd buy some.
I think that happens tonight actually. As we're playing.
Yeah, he's like, I think about going to sell it because I just don't feel like it's any good. And you're like, wait a minute. So, all right. So, Cricket's taking my gun apart for the next 3 gaming sessions. Got it. All right.
How big should this clock be, Josh? Should I?
So this
my silencer.
What do you think? I mean, do you think 6 makes sense for this one? Because it's not really like you're not. I mean, creating something out of
not
thin
a brand
air,
new.
right?
It's a modification.
Like you had to completely come up with the whole idea for the other thing out of thin air, right? Like it was something that never existed before. Whereas this is applying principles that already exist, just to a different, like people haven't applied them necessarily to a rifle. So it's a little. Does that make sense? Is it being like a little less?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm fine with it.
Cool. That works for me.
All right, and then I am inventing. So that's which type of
Study.
Study.
Start with. Yep. You're figuring out how to do it.
And then, do I have an ability related to this? I think I may have gotten this wrong before, but I think I don't. I just get 2 extra ticks because I'm a nerd.
Nice.
So I study.
Okay. All right. So that would normally be 2 segments.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get 2 additional when you're...
Yeah, because I'm an analyst. You get 2 ticks for long-term, blocks.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is making sense.
I've got the idea. I got most of the idea figured out.
I think I can
put it back together, though. Clean it a little bit if there's a little, spots that needs to be cleaned.
Got some food grease on it. Eating snacks and taking it down apart. Cool. All right, so that's Luca and Cricket. How about Puka and Sarge for other downtime stuff?
Well, Sarge is also feeling pretty stressed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, you should have come to the gambling hall with me. I didn't realize Sorry.
That's fine. He's gonna go for a walk.
Yeah.
Relieve stress. That's a good strategy. I like the new Sarge.
And then go to a drug.
Walks.
And then kill the drug addict.
And then do some drugs.
Yeah.
To a drug den.
Yep.
And then
like walked right in.
Yeah.
It's like I really went to just go for a walk, but then I somehow ended up here.
It's really weird how that works out.
Yep.
Like it wasn't the intention.
But sometimes that's just
all roads lead to the drug den.
I go to this powder dealer,
Yep.
and I just hate this place. Well, I can't go to the place that I want to go to.
Nope.
So I'll go here. Yeah, that's fine. No, this is fine. This is fine.
In a pinch.
You might need to make a long-term project out of that at some point.
It's really not.
some point.
It's really not
It's
good.
not
It just
good.
doesn't do the trick.
Now,
All right, I'm gonna take some
I
drugs.
hate to say it. Didn't you have the coin on you from the last?
No, I put that coin in the.
You put it in
That's in
the.
our hoard.
I
That's
was
in
gonna say
our,
you could.
yeah.
It's in the Legion's hold.
All right.
No, I don't, but I do have my drugs.
Does have some drugs.
I could take some of my own drugs and start working
Spend a drug coin.
You
to
could.
get back into to my actual purveyor.
Yeah.
Because they're not. They think that I'm permanently banned.
They do.
Because they said that.
Yep.
They think that because they said that, but I don't think that they super meant that.
Yeah. I mean, they
Yeah.
must not have actually meant it, right?
Right.
Right. You just need a peace offering.
Yeah, so I need to figure out a way to get back in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this giant cockroach, and it's just like, that's why I was gone for a little bit. Because I was trying to chase this cockroach around the bonus room, and I just got it.
Just play this in character, Sarge.
Yep. I think that's what.
Right there.
I think that's what's happening.
Talking like
Just something about this place, man. This powder dealer. There's cockroaches on the floor.
But I gotta get back into this place, and I think that is the project that I need to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how to do it because it sounds a little bit more diplomatic.
Yeah. Yep. It does.
Which isn't really his strong suit.
You could just sneak in every time.
I mean,
Wear like a mask and sneak in. Get kicked out every
That's a
time they
really
notice
good
you.
idea, actually. Yeah, if I wore a disguise to, and then
And then eventually they just realize they keep kicking you out, but like you've actually been on good behavior, right?
yeah, and I can just prove to them by indulging in my vice where I'm supposed to be.
yeah.
That's where I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Snorting powder like a good boy. That's the plan.
Well, no, there's more variety of vices that you can indulge in.
Oh, I didn't know.
No, you can't pigeonhole Sarge like that.
All right, fine. So my apologies.
Accepted.
Yeah.
Go
But,
ahead.
yeah, go ahead. I was going to say, we can talk about, if downtime for Sarge, we can talk about creating some sort of hybrid thing that might involve some surveying to start with, and then maybe some consorting, some swaying to try and get him back in more good graces. So, yeah, we can figure something out.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, Puka, what's Puka up to?
Just gonna practice his prowess, specifically his finesse, as he finishes off a row of prowess.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Ooh.
So you're just creeping around,
Yeah.
like
Very
finessing,
trying to like put things in your pockets.
Yeah.
Like while you're watching him.
Yeah.
Because he's not very good at it, but he gets slightly better.
Yeah. Like Cricket's got the
You get to
rifle
one
in
dot, or you
pieces,
get
and
to
he's
two
just like
dots.
sneak
One
a rifle piece off.
Yeah.
Towards the end, you actually surprised me a couple times, and
I
Puka.
surprised myself.
What's this you put in my pocket?
Oh, he didn't see it?
Puka, you
Ooh.
take my screwdriver.
And that was something else at the end of when we I don't know, during the course of this downtime, like Luca and like Sarge, like Luca's been wanting to wrestle with Sarge a little more, like working on his hand-to-hand combat. He seems to have gotten a little better at it. not as good as Sarge, but he's like, he's just that was like the thing that he was working on for a while. So
All right.
yeah. So
Sarge gives him some pointers.
oh yeah.
When he's still high.
Yeah, that seems like a great conversation.
Before or after Sarge indulges his life, I'm not sure which is the better time for it, but
you don't want to go deer hunter on this. That would be a bad idea.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So took care of some heat, took care of some vices, made some things. And so now we got some turf to take. So what's the next step here for taking this turf? So we know that something weird is going on below Brandon's. You've got keys to get in the back door. You've got Hive papers, and you know that the Hive does kind of know about what's going on here because they're the ones who pointed you in this direction to begin with. And it's reasonable to assume that, that the crows are aware of what happened to Needle. You don't really know what their response to it was. So that's kind of the unknown factor here, is that you never really got to see what exactly was going on underneath Brandon's. You got a sense of it, but you don't know the details, and you don't know what the crows, exactly how much the crows know or what they've done. Needle hasn't really been heard from after getting patched up a little bit by Weaver.
Yeah. So that would be like the first thing, because my impression of downtime is that it's a few days to even like a week or so. I mean, is that?
Yep.
So, like, even as we're doing our downtime activities, but then as this time is ending and we're thinking about, all right, so what's our next step? I would like to, go back and scout out to see if Needles is still appearing from his dwelling and going to continue to go to the butcher shop, or has he been totally replaced, or has Needle disappeared, or as so I want to see because that was part of the reason we did what we did, was so we can then see what happens, or even just send a message, or and also that would help us understand how the crows work, because if they just assign a new guy to it, then all right, so we need a different plan. So I want to check on Needle, and then also if we need to, we have this documentation about the Hive, or that the Hive would find interesting. So we feel like we need maybe another assist that might be useful to to bargain with, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So looking at keeping an eye on Needle's place, and also dropping by. Seeing if there's any activity around Brandon's. You do not see anything of Needle after, you don't see him going in and out of his place. Seems quiet, no activity there. So if he's still around, he's probably, the crows are probably keeping close tabs on him and have probably got him somewhere.
Okay.
If he still exists.
Interesting. And so y'all got keys to this place? Is that what we?
You guys have. You stole his keys.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
After you beat him up.
You did. Yep, yeah, you took his keys.
Great. Yeah. I just remember beating him up and running. Oh, okay. So we got his keys. All right.
We can get into the back door.
Yeah.
To what end? Are we open the door, go look, and we don't want to piss off the owners, right?
We already have.
I'm fine with. No, we have. I have. Puka has. You guys are still clean.
Well, I'm not sure breaking in the back door with the keys would probably.
Oh, right. So maybe it actually should be Cricket and Puka because they already hate us if they catch us. And Puka's best equipped to analyze the
still,
space.
yeah, what's the purpose of this? Like, we're trying to acquire surf. We're not going to acquire it by just breaking into it.
We would acquire information maybe that Puka could leverage.
No, that's a bad idea. Let's
That's what?
Information about what? What's underneath?
About how it works, what's going on there. And information just about what we're dealing with. One potentially is leverage, depending on what it is, right? I mean, this is something super weird with a null space in the spirit realm. Something that spirit wardens might be interested in, and I would assume they would not want spirit wardens around, potentially, some kind of thing like that. So, I mean, having that kind of information as leverage, if you wanted to try to take that approach, or something, I don't know, something else. But definitely, I think using the Hive could be good, just to be able to get a little more support, get a little more feedback, maybe get a little more information on an approach that maybe we haven't considered.
We also know he was using, or we don't really know, I guess you guys had to share some of this information, but we know that he was going in and not coming out and like vice versa. So there's definitely another entrance below ground. We could also try and push that side and see if we can figure out that element of it. Study and research and I don't know, whatever. Figure out what the sewer system is or whatever it is that's going on underneath.
So we go talk to the Hive again then? Is that where we're going first?
I think that's a safer approach.
I think that it's pretty reasonable and it's a good resource. It's a good relationship to cultivate.
They may know about underground tunnels.
I mean, maybe they know that the crows are gathering information of theirs.
Maybe they don't. Either way, they can.
If they know it and they're okay with it, that's one thing. If they don't know it and they're not okay with it, then we gain something.
How many like pages of information was there? Was it like a book, or was it just like a?
It was like a sheaf of papers.
Okay.
I mean, is this?
And you got like half of them, right? Because they got some of them got.
Well, a few got burned, but you know that.
Is it like potentially damning information? Is this information that would look bad, especially in their higher society? Look at things.
Yeah, so this is kind of stuff detailing some of their backdoor dealings, which which isn't really, you all know is not their public face, right? Their public face is honest, up and up merchants, and the backdoor stuff is, goes on behind the scenes of these legitimate businesses. So so it's information that they would not want certain groups in the city to get. There are people in the city who know the secret behind the Hive. There are some people who they don't worry about. If they know, like, if you all know, they don't really care. Like, what are you all going to do about it?
Right.
You're nobodies, basically. To them anyway. Like, you're not really on their radar. But there are other higher powered groups in the city who don't. And they wouldn't want them to know it. That kind of puts them in a weird place, or ruins sort of what they've been building.
Yeah, and at worst, that becomes a headache for them and potentially an expensive one to try and clean up. So I think that's a good thing to bring them.
Yeah, during this downtime, I'm certainly going
to somebody that drops off information.
I missed what both you said.
Yeah, what'd you say, Mike?
I said, especially if we found them on somebody who drops off information for a living. It's not like he was keeping information to himself; he was selling it.
Right, for the crows.
Right.
Yeah, I'm certainly going to read through this information over the course of this downtime period. I mean, I may not understand a lot of it, but I'm certainly going to try to write down anything I think is important, especially like if there's specific names and drop points, and even though I know the Hive doesn't really operate in this neighborhood, still it's information is good. So
Yep.
You can learn what a well-run organization looks like.
right,
Yep.
gotta learn.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we become tier 4, like them.
They got like a bumblebee sign for their. I mean, we gotta have a sign. What is the Legion? We need a marker.
Yeah, we just got a name. Now we got to figure out a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 10 more episodes. But yeah, we'll get it.
Man. Yeah, all these things you have to
whatever
create.
a silencer looks like, that's gonna be our, yeah.
The Silenter is our emblem.
Yeah, that's gonna be our little emblem. That's gonna be our mark.
I think your cat
Silencer.
should be.
Yeah.
I don't like our mascot.
I forgot. Oh, Farah. Yeah, Farah is our. We're gonna start leaving the little cat.
It'd be Farah holding a gun. That's
There
it.
you go.
With 2 pistols.
Yeah. Yeah, basically that like Luca figure, but a cat.
As a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to the Hive.
Okay.
Going back.
Yeah.
To
So
Okay. Back to the
Vestine Templeton.
yeah.
I'm gonna go talk to her again.
Okay. So yeah, back
Or
to
maybe-
the wine shop.
Yeah.
Yep. The very ritzy upscale wine shop.
where we are completely welcome.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So yeah, so you make your way back there, and you go in. Ah, gentlemen. What brings you my way again? on this
I was
fine
looking at the
day?
image that Mike sent for, I assume, our emblem.
Dripping
Oh, good.
blood. Bloody alphabet L.
L Legion. We write
Sarge is like a serial killer. That's just-
Yeah. Like, we're all talking about like a cat, with
Yeah.
Hey, we're not bloody hell.
Everywhere we go,
Doesn't anybody like Sarge's ideas ever?
we make an
Yeah.
L with their blood on their forehead.
Yep.
I mean, you added the forehead part. I was.
I
It's like hard to talk 20 minutes about what it would look like, all the fine detail of it.
Yeah.
We're just all looking at him like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah. What happened to the cartoon cat?
simple. It's beautiful. It's
And it's really easy. There's always blood, and it's easy to write it down.
That's
Come on,
true.
guys. No brainer.
L is very easy to write.
Thank you, Puka.
you don't have to kill somebody to get some of their blood, right? That's,
Right.
That's true.
But yes, we go to the wine shop.
Okay. So yeah, she welcomes you in. Good to see you, gentlemen. What brings you by on this fine day?
Oh, we were hoping to speak to Bestine again if she was around.
Yes, that can be arranged.
Thank you.
I will have her make her way here, and so similar to last time, she sends somebody out with a message. Makes chit chat with you for a little while, and then they take you into that private room where you were able to talk with Bethine before. Oh, it's good to see you again. I'm a little surprised that you calling me again so soon. So you must have encountered something that perhaps needs my attention. Your business with the shows, perhaps.
We were curious about a couple things, and we're wondering if you would able to maybe supply a little more information and possible assistance.
Well, I will offer what I can, of course.
And I look over at Puka like,
So you see, we we're good at what we do. which is part of why we're trying to acquire this particular property, so that what we do is worth more. And it sounds like it of interest to you as well. But of course, you don't quite have the influence that the Hive does, or even quite as the crows do. But we certainly could use it for better. For example, we happen to find some particular information about your organization that one would think you wouldn't really want into the public eye, which Crows had and planned to sell to the highest bidder. So we are hoping, in this honest conversation, that such a gesture of returning sensitive information might garner us a little bit more assistance, if possible, in getting into a situation where we're able to do what we do better, and perhaps able to work more closely with you and need if you should ever need our services.
Yeah.
So our assistance would be to help you take this particular piece of turf, as you call it, to be your own?
Well, yes.
Well, I suppose that, well, this kind of thing is not exactly my area. I would need to put you in touch with someone else in my organization who, this is more of their purview.
That would be a pleasure.
Well, if you would like me to make that arrangement, then I can certainly see when they would be available and see what I can organize for you.
Certainly, that would be lovely.
Well, then, if you would give me a day or so, how can I contact you?
So back to Luca.
Who's our contact guy? Who's the yeah, the bartender. What's his name?
Rigney.
Rigney. Yeah, you can leave a message with or you can get in touch with Rigney, and we can stop by, and from there we'll
Rigney?
Yes, at this tavern, and I get whatever the name, Rigney's, at Rigney's in Crows.
This is a watering hole.
Yeah, it's a bar. It's a tavern.
Okay. Well, I suppose that will have to do.
Is there any sort of like telephone network or like not telephone, but whatever the
telegraph? There is telegraph.
telegraph?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Telegraph.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I assume our hideout doesn't have one, but I don't know how that works. But maybe it could be added or something.
I mean, there are.
That'll be your next project.
Yeah, there you go.
God damn it!
I could tap into the system or whatever.
Sarge is still feeling the effects of whatever that. Your friend seems to be having some kind of an outburst. If he's seeing cockroaches, I can assure you there are none here in his mind.
Conversely, if that is not your flavor, we'd be happy to stop by again tomorrow.
No, I can have a message sent to this Rigney's by courier and give you the information that you would need to know.
But there's a separate mission for it to create the franchise.
All right. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for.
Thank you again.
Yes, thank you for coming to us with this, and Well, we'll see if we can come to some kind of agreement.
Did we give them the documentation?
Nope.
Did we even show them what it was?
Nope.
Okay.
They didn't have. That's not her part.
Nope.
I'm sure
Right.
the next person will ask.
The next person's department. That's right.
Yep. Yeah, she doesn't really do this kind of stuff. It's a little bit seedy.
Make nice cities and leave.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. Let's see. All right. So here's
Did we
what.
leave?
What?
Did we leave? Is that what you said? I'm sorry. I lost it.
Yeah, I mean, I assume.
Okay. So as we are leaving, I look at Puka and say, I thought you were more going to talk about the strangeness underneath the place as opposed to the. It was fine, but.
Oh, I mean, I'm certainly more interested in it, but I don't imagine that she is. Then again, perhaps the next person will be.
Right. It was more about if they just knew what there actually was under there, as opposed to I don't. They're not gonna offer to help us do anything about that. Whatever it is, I think it's more of if they just knew what it was.
Huh. Well, I wonder about such an oddity if that makes it more precious and therefore less likely that they'll help us get it. Perhaps if they don't know, they don't need to know. Or at least not yet. You know, what they don't know, we can always share later.
But we might have a bargaining chip though.
Well, whoever this next person is, I'm happy to bring it up if you like. Unless they're more your sort, in which case bring it up and I'll back you up.
Yeah, let's see who we're dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be somebody rough and tumble and be like, no, Luca and Sarge have this one.
All right. Cool. So the next day you get a message through Rigney.
Yeah, we'll go down Rigney.
That this evening there is at a Hive location in Charter Hall. There is a sort of a little gathering where some light business will be discussed, but there will be refreshments and entertainment and things like that. And Vestine is willing to vouch to get you in the door, and the person who would handle this kind of thing will be there, and you would have an opportunity if you wanted to talk with this person about about the idea that you have. This person's name is Arquo Claremont. I'm putting that. Arquo Claremont. And this person will be there and kind of handles their sort of kind of city location type business. Is the person who is responsible for their sort of physical presence in the city. Oversees their buildings, does property acquisitions for them, manages that kind of like real estate portion of what the Hive does, and would know kind of what the deal is with Brandon's, what ways there might be to acquire it without storming it and taking it by force. So she says like she'll vouch enough for you to get in and let people know that you'll be there. But it'll be up to you to see what see if you can come to some kind of agreement with Mr. Claremont. So effectively, this would be a social score.
Social score.
If you wanted to go through with this thing that she's setting you up to do. So you'd probably be trying to.
I can watch.
Put on your best suits.
Good. Do what?
All right, boys, put on your best suits.
Yeah. Get cleaned up.
And we all come out looking dressed the same way.
Cleaned up nice. Can somebody at least sew Sarge's pants?
And Luca's.
My pants do not need to be sewed.
That's Luca's.
That's Luca.
Oh, sorry, Luca's pants. That's what I meant. Yeah, I was looking at Luca. Sorry for some reason. Yeah, Luca's torn up pants. Like the rest of you guys are doing okay. I mean, Sarge could maybe use a tie.
Yeah.
Those are my work pants. I think
I might loan you guys. I can loan you guys some. I got a spare.
Yeah.
A spare outfit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I look that fancy, but
that's what's in the briefcase. That's the surprise.
I'll give you Luca. You get some slacks and a tie, and Sarge, you at least get a jacket.
I got a collared shirt on.
Yeah, you're not. We'll get a jacket over that.
Yeah, that's the best. Put down the knife.
Yeah. Maybe button the vest up.
Yeah. So when if you give Luca a tie, he looks at you like, I do not know how to do this. Like there is that.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's like I have never worn one of these in my life. I do not even know.
I'll stand behind you like Dad and tie it for you. And...
we're having like a tie lesson, like 10 minutes. Like, okay, what do we do now? Why do they make these so complicated?
Oh, they're
Now this is gonna go well.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of thing you're good at.
This is what we want right here.
Yeah.
Rubbing elbows with the higher ups.
Hobnobbing. Yep.
Hobnobbing. Yeah.
We're definitely any of us good at this. Is anybody good at this?
It depends if we're swaying or consorting. I wouldn't say good.
I do both of them out of one.
I got a dot in both.
Hey, got some dots. Some people have some dots.
We got to do this group actions across the board.
We walk together the whole time and we all talk together. Yeah,
it's not confusing at all. We should just speak one word at a time. The next person says the word.
We all have a script. We read the script.
We're wondering.
Hello, my name is Puka. Oh, we'll be fine. We're just gonna get in there, talk to this guy, and leave.
Yeah,
that's right.
Keep Sarge away from the alcohol, and
it's gonna be stressful. I know that much.
This is definitely going to be stressful.
We're going to be resisting, I think, and pushing ourselves socially.
Yeah,
it'll be good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how this goes.
It'll go great.
Yep.
Sarge, stay away from the,
murdering people?
No, the drugs.
Oh,
do you think that we have drugs here?
That's what
Oh,
right,
boy.
The drugs and the murdering people. We need to avoid both of those things while we're here.
Wait, can we back up for a second to the part where there's drugs here?
We're in good standing.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. To make sure that we don't mess this up. Yeah.
Do you have any of that? Would you give us?
Alcahest?
Yeah.
Here you go.
I don't know. Maybe Sarge needs to sit this one out.
Ow! I don't think that's true. I think that this will be fine.
Yeah, let's keep to the
Yeah,
what we're here for.
keep it.
Yeah.
We're talking about Arco. We're gonna try to convince him of my new little. Oh, let's just see what he has to say.
Yeah. What could go wrong?
Nothing.
All right. I'm trying to remind myself how to use these things. Cool. I think I got it. Get some clocks out here.
What's
All
this?
right. Oh, you'll see. It'll be great.
Oh, I think that we need to fill up the green one before we fill up the red one.
That's my guess. That's saving throws.
We'll
Yeah.
see. All right. So
the color of the lightsabers change from series to series. So
Yep.
red actually might be good this time.
who knows?
It seems less likely.
Yep. All right. So we ready to see how this engagement goes?
Go to our
Let's go to a party, boys. Here we go.
All right. Pretty good. It's pretty good.
That's a good spot to start.
Yeah. All right. So, what happens is you guys get to this gathering, and it's kind of this thing where, they have people serving hors d'oeuvres and drinks, and there are, it's informal. It's not regimented. There's nobody guiding the proceedings or anything like that. But kind of what you experience is people break off and form these little groups and go sit somewhere. There's various sitting rooms and parlors and things, and they'll discuss for a while and come back, and then maybe some of them go off and join another group. And so it seems to be just these sort of ongoing business discussions that that are taking place at various points throughout the evening. So it's this sort of like informal, kind of salon for discussing Hive business. But none of it, the stuff that's sort of out in the open in the main room is sort of polite discussion about, city things and, people's families and stuff like that. It's not business. All of that takes place in one of these other parlor rooms. So, so you guys can engage in some chatting here and there and kind of work your way through and sort of find out what's going on. And at the point we pick up, you've been able to identify who Arco Claremont is, and get a little bit of his time. So he had to tell you, well, I've got some other things to discuss, but a little bit later on, you can step over here and talk. And so at this point, he's come to pull you into this other room, and say that he's ready to hear you, hear what you have to say. And so I'm going to name these two things. Oh, I want this to show up. Come on. Show nameplate. Just because I like naming things.
You really don't like naming things. Like, you hate giving names to things.
I love naming things. So this one over here on the left, the green one, is called Convinced Arquo, and the other one is called Arquo is Finished Listening.
They're
So
not
we're gonna
showing
run
up for us.
So we're gonna run this as some clocks, and as the conversation continues, and you try various means of convincing Arquo. I know those nameplates are really little.
Well, they're not showing up
No,
for us
they're
at all.
invisible.
Oh, you don't see him?
No.
Oh,
No.
weird.
They're on Twitch, obviously.
Okay. Wait. Name C.
So
Oh,
little box
Now can you
click
see that
on,
one?
say,
Yeah.
your name,
a little.
whatever.
And it's crazy small.
Yeah. Why is it so small?
So I found out if you're like, did you create a text box? Is that how you did it?
No. I did the nameplate.
Naming it.
If that's the same way that I don't know if that's the same one.
Could be like the grid scale of the map we're on or something.
Maybe.
Since, yeah.
Well,
Because when I would type it in, it would show up as like, it would show up a decent size. It's like 16, and then as soon as you press enter, or it would click off of it. It would reduce to, I guess, what Drew was saying. I don't know.
well. Anyway, the green one's called Convince Arklow, and the other one is Arklow's done. Yeah.
You just got to zoom in on it. That's all.
Yeah, just zoom way in. Just trust me. That's what it says.
Yeah,
Convince Arklow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So as this, you've got, maybe you have a refreshment, a drink, an hors d'oeuvre on a nice plate if you want, and you come into this other room, and it started with pleasantries, like he introduced himself, you introduced yourself. He said, Vestine mentioned that you would be coming and that you had business you wanted to discuss that concerns a property here in the city, and as I'm the one who deals with our various properties throughout Duskwall. Then, if I can be of some help in some way, then I'm interested to hear what you have in mind and how the Hive might be interested in whatever you plan to do with this place that you mentioned.
Flashback. Where we have who was starting the conversation?
I think I would start, and then I'd probably look over at you at some point with the like, okay, now what you said last time worked well. Yeah.
Right.
So we had
but yeah, I guess once we get past all the pleasantries and
the introduction, offer them an alternative to the crows, because the crows may not be partner.
Okay.
So you had let's let Luca start off in the talking conversation.
Yeah, just to get us kind of ingratiated to what we're here for, and then I'd say something like, but my associate here, he's a little more on the finer details, and so I'll look at him and.
So I forget, what was her name? Vestine. So I'm sure Vestine shared a bit of the details, but we're trying to find a nice peaceful way to procure a certain establishment down in the docks. And we have a fair bit of information, but as we were working to get this place that would help us to transfer knowledge to those who might want to need it, we found someone who works in the Crows, a young man named Needle, who did this sort of thing, and unfortunately had some information about the Hive, about some of your workings and some of the workings that perhaps you don't necessarily want out in the open. So we thought perhaps it's information you might want that could potentially help us, in figuring out how do we acquire this particular establishment in a more reputable way. We're not necessarily looking to go and slaughter all the crows. That seems like quite a hard way to try and take some turf. And it sounds like you've got quite the expertise in doing such things.
Well, and it's not necessarily a good way to hang on to said turf after you acquire it.
Mm.
So they, the crows, they own this place or operate out of it.
They operate through the back door.
They operate. Yeah, it's a drop point. It's a drop point for as far as we understand.
Not quite sure how much information the owner actually is aware of. We know they know something, but we're not sure they know everything.
Right.
And who is this owner?
Brannon. That's
Brannon.
A butcher.
Most we got from his name, but what was it called? Brandon's Butchery, yeah. Butcher shop. Down in the docks. Well, no, sorry, not dock. I don't know why he's down in Crow's Foot.
Brandon's butcher shop. But he is not a in the crows as far as you know. He's just allowing them to use
The back of a shop for whatever they might be using it for.
some purpose regarding information. If you would give me a moment. And he calls someone in and whispers a little bit and sends him back out. I would like to see if we have any record of this place or if I can find any information about it amongst my property records that I have kept. It doesn't ring a bell off the top of my head, but perhaps
it's a small place, you know. I'm down in Crowsfoot. I'm sure it doesn't make too much of a splash up here.
No, I don't do too much business down there, but I do try to keep aware of things that are going on around the city.
Of course.
One curiosity you may be interested in is we've noticed people going in and not coming out and showing up in other places. So leads us to believe there may be some other underground entrance or passages. I don't know how common that is.
So some of their agents go in and appear elsewhere.
So or vice versa.
That is strange. And unusual. For buildings in the city, anyway.
There's no network that you know of that people might use?
No. At least, I mean, we have several properties that have, various features to operate out of that are not discernible by the general public, but nothing to that extent. That is very interesting. Make a sway roll. Whoever is
this a group sway?
Taking the lead on this, and it can be a group action, yes,
Yeah.
because you are all contributing to this
sweet.
conversation.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
So this is a standard risky. Since this is just sort of starting.
Okay, decent start.
Yeah.
It keeps getting better.
Yeah. And we get a 1.
Hey!
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd like to see.
Got him with the whole talking about the underground thing.
Yep.
Good job.
That did it. All right. Now let's see.
I think that I'm going to just be honest here and not contribute to the group roll.
You can still roll.
How do I do this thing? All right.
It doesn't look like you can hurt us. It only looks like you can help us. So,
There's some way to make these things move along.
Sarge is just sort of like leaning on a table behind you guys.
Yeah.
Aha. You can see that. So yeah, he seems to be interested, especially by this information, because that's unusual. So as you're talking about this, his person comes back with a sort of found file folder, this sort of leather thing that he undoes a string around and opens it up and starts flipping through some pages. Let's see. This is some information that I have about crow's foot. It's not much. And you can see it's pretty thin. There's not a whole lot in here. It's not a big stack of things.
Everybody kind of sees Luca. Luca's head kind of pokes up a little bit, and he's kind of like doing that whole "I'm not trying to look, but I am trying to look" thing. He's like,
And this is sort of flipping through, and it's property records, things like that. No, I don't see anything out of the ordinary about this. Brandon's. We've never made note of it for any particular reason. Curious.
I guess that surprises me. I don't know much about your organization. Do you deal much in in the occult and the stranger things in this world have to do with the spirit realm?
We don't typically stray into that very much. You know, we of course know there are. I mean, there are various merchants throughout the city who, who deal in that sort of thing. But we tend uh, not to do much as far as that goes.
Well, that might explain why there's a bit of information I would expect to be interesting. Underneath the shop is how do I put it, a void in the spirit realm, a place where spirits can either, I imagine, enter or potentially leave, which is not something I've ever come across, and I tend to deal in spirits quite a lot.
That is also quite unusual.
We thought so as well.
It appears that there's more to this butcher shop than just meat.
Aye. More than just meat and documents.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you also get one of the cleavers and find that it had some sort of spirit energy or something attached to it?
I think he had checked it and it didn't necessarily have a special energy that I mean,
Lots of dead animals.
Yeah, it had been used as a butcher's knife. The butcher.
Oh, that's all that it was.
Yeah, no, it wasn't too exciting. But he still has it. I think he picked that up from Sarge. Like, you just go ahead, take the weapons. Whatever you find, take the weapons. I don't know what he uses them for, but Puka now has a butcher knife.
They always come in handy later. No, it's just that you have his butcher knife.
Right. And he doesn't have mine. And that's how it works in your world.
No.
Other than that.
No, you have his. You can use that later. It's a tool.
Ah.
But no, I never keep the things that I take. They're always handy sooner than later. You'll figure it out. It's fine.
That's a flashback.
I appreciate though.
Yeah, we're not having this conversation.
Back to the fever conversation. Yeah.
That would waste his time. As his time clock ticks. If you
yeah, there you go. Mark off 5
have a little.
Yeah. So, and you intend to use this as a place to make good on the kinds of information that you come across?
Well, as long as that information is worth passing along and certainly not harmful to our friends.
Of course,
We've been able to procure this type of information with some relative, very frequently, and figure that it might be very useful to us to.
It could be of value to both of our organizations, if you will. Since we have a particular interest in crows and you do not.
I see. Well,
and we did mention we have some of. Did you mention that we have some information that we've come across that?
Oh, for the Hive, yeah.
For the Hive, okay.
Yeah, so you're willing to part with this information that you have concerning us rather than hang on to it and use it for profit.
What kind of friendship would that be?
Well,
and you are already providing us a service. Your organization gave us the location of this butcher shop, and if this agreement should hold, then you may help us in acquiring this space. So I believe we are profiting from it, just as you would be profiting from receiving this information we have.
And future information we might come across that you need or that you should have.
All right.
Or do you want out of the public eye?
All right, make a sway roll.
With advantage.
Because you're not rolling?
Dang it, that was my best speech. And
Yeah.
On you,
Come on,
Cricket.
Puka. Come on, Cricket.
All right, hey, that's it. It's not a 3-0.
Cricket's holding us down here.
Okay.
Okay.
Is Sarge
Yeah.
gonna like pipe in here?
He just says, yeah.
Yeah, what he said.
Oh man.
He's like leaning against the wall, like holding his hand with a little buzzer that Cricket gave him. Like, yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. It's just, don't worry about it. I'm just playing with this thing. Yeah. Click, 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 click.
Yeah, click, yeah.
Well, it's certainly good to hear that you're willing to work with us on this.
Oh, we're certainly happy to.
I'm curious if this does prove to have the kind of reach throughout the city that you speak about, the ability to travel undetected from one place to another throughout the city. What would your feelings be about, should we have need of that particular feature, being able to utilize it as we see fit?
Well,
because I don't think that's an unreasonable thing that we might like. If we brought it up, they might ask. So it would be unreasonable to flash back and have a conversation about that among us first.
No, go for it.
Yeah.
So let's say, we tell them about the whole transferring around the city thing, and they want to use it. I mean, are we okay with that? I mean, are there stipulations? Because they might ask. I don't know. I mean, they might not.
I don't know why they would.
Well, the first question that might need to be answered is like, we're not technically owning this shop. We're just using it as a drop point. So, I mean,
But we are going to be
unless we're-
stewards of it. We're going to have control of it.
I mean, we hope. I mean, the butcher fella did try to take out 2 of you already. So, I mean, I don't know how agreeable he's going to be to us, unless we just dispose of Brandon's butchery and open up Puka's butchery or something. I don't know.
Perhaps with the Hive's influence, those transgressions will be forgiven.
What transgressions? It was a conversation.
Right. Yeah, it's no big thing.
It's not like I punched him or, screwed his wife.
Somehow you ended up with this cleaver. But anyway, yeah,
As long as we have a friendly relationship, I don't see the problem, right? I mean, we don't want to just give it away, but...
And as long as the Hive doesn't want to have business in crows, then...
I think that would be a fair stipulation.
They leave it on us, but should they need movement after we figure out how this works, perhaps we'd be open to helping them move it.
Movement is fine. Setting up
Moving
business
through Crow's Foot is fine, but not moving into Crow's Foot.
right. And I'd prefer if they keep their profile to a certain. They're not well known because I don't want it would defeat kind of what we're trying to do if we're just backed by the Hive.
Yeah.
We're not backed by anyone. We are.
Yeah,
We
we're not
in an alliance. We are an alliance with them, but
We
we're
don't
not
want
backed.
to look like pawns.
Correct. So movement, yes. And maybe as Sarge said, movement through, okay. Movement in, stopping, setting up shop, not. No.
I think that's a very fair line to draw.
Coming back to the present. Well, that is an interesting thought. I hadn't really considered that. Well, assuming we had gotten a chance to figure out how it works, certainly would make sense to be able to share that with a friend. But of course, I mean, I hope you understand. It doesn't sound like you have a particular interest in Crowsfoot, and of course, we do have a particular interest in Crowsfoot. I mean, we would hate for that to rub the wrong way. Us getting in your way, or you're getting in our way as we continue to grow as a friend of yours and as a friend of Crowsfoot itself. So as long as it's just something that you want to be able to use, and we can help you in using it, that certainly seems like it would make sense.
All right. Puka, make a sway roll.
All right. I will take some stress.
Okay.
I'm not as good at it. Not horrible at it. I'd like a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good buffer.
I took that.
Yeah.
That's stress worth having.
Yep.
Very stressful thing to have to say to that man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, well, I don't foresee us having any business interests in Crows, but not really. I mean, we have some people who operate there, but it's not a major source of what we do, major location for what we do. However, it could be useful to have somewhere there that allows us to do our business elsewhere in the city and have it as a, I don't know, escape valve, you might say, if things go awry, or a way into places that we might not have a way into currently if we need to move things discreetly, which we have need for from time to time. But we certainly wouldn't make it a part of our day-to-day business.
And of course, we still have to figure out how this is all done. So I think if it's all right, it's something that's a bit up in the air until we can get in there and actually have time to study whatever it is, whether it's something in the arcane realm, which I certainly hope, or if it's something more mundane that perhaps has gone under the radar of some of the other groups. Certainly, if it's something we can help with, it wouldn't be past us to do so.
So, as far as acquiring this business, this building, we certainly can arrange the capital to do so. But that arrangement, well, I suppose we would need to work out the details of that. I mean, there are several ways we can proceed as I see it. We can certainly purchase it. I mean, the Hive. I'm certain we could come to terms that would be acceptable to this Brannon and allow him to continue to have his business as he sees fit. If we were to go that route, we may install someone as an associate of his just to make sure that nothing detrimental to our interests happens there. And we would, this associate would not interfere in whatever you are doing in any way. Or if you would like us to provide you with the capital, well, then we would stay out of the business of the building, the day-to-day operations. We wouldn't necessarily need to oversee it. We would trust you to do it, and your debt would be monetary with us. And of course, we would still expect to be able to use it as needed, but we, of course, would approach you first, unless it were an emergency situation, in which case we would attempt to make it up to you afterwards. As I'm sure you would understand, things can go awry sometimes, but we hope to we strive to limit that as much as possible. And
course,
we don't like to operate that way.
Certainly.
Right, because you are honest business people.
Exactly. You understand.
We do. So this this movement of yeah, as you were saying earlier, it would not be happening too often because you are honest business people.
Right. It's just, sometimes for convenience sake, let's say, if it provides an easier way to get something from one point in the city to another, not that we would necessarily need to hide what we were doing, just make it easier on us. Reduces the capital outlay to have it moved.
Of course, coin saved is a coin down.
Exactly.
Right. Well, and speaking of coin, sorry, I'm still catching up to these kinds of things. I was a lowly professor for some time, but about how much of this capital are we talking about when we speak of potentially purchasing
buying a business?
I mean, if it's a fairly small property and not something that has a whole lot of assets, something on the order of 10 coin or so usually is a fair price for something like that. Of course, if it, if this current owner, this Brandon, has particular features that he divulges that, put it beyond the sort of standard fare, then may require a little more. Or if there needs to be a portion of it dedicated to wresting him away from his current obligations, then that can add to it. If the crows have some kind of influence that would require a little more convincing for him to get out from under their thumb, then that may take a little more. So I would imagine somewhere between 10 and 15 coin worth of cash.
And you would be willing to provide us that assistance as long as we could pay it back.
I think we'd like to save you the trouble of getting involved, and yeah, I think we could take that on.
I mean, we can certainly make this a financial transaction if that's the way you wish to proceed.
A financial transaction, but I do think that our continued friendship could, smooth out the details. The services that this would provide you might, reduce some of the debts owed, I would think.
And this is the first time we've done it, because you have quite the amount of experience, it seems. So we would appreciate that sort of back and forth in this relationship.
Is the information that we are going to provide you worth nothing then?
Well, it remains to be seen what it is worth. But that may be part of our agreement. Of course, we would need to, I would prepare the papers, the documents that would specify the arrangement, and that may be part of it, part of the exchange. So, Puka or Cricket make a sway roll, and the other one, whoever doesn't can assist the other, if you would like.
What is assist? Is that a stress?
That's one stress to help out.
I can stress.
How's your sway?
Sway's a dot.
Okay. I mean, I could take the 2 stress, and then if you take 1, or we could vice versa that.
Yeah, no, I can take the 2. I didn't think about, yeah.
No, I just don't know what your stress is at. I don't want to push it.
I'm not too stressed.
Okay. Well, then I'll do 1 to give you an extra die.
Okay.
And that might be enough. You don't even have to take the 2 stress if you're fine with just 2 dice.
Nah, let's knock this thing out. Thank you, stress.
Triple sixes.
Triple sixes, is that a thing?
I mean,
we've done it.
double sixes. I mean,
Double
that's
sixes is a thing. Yeah.
right. Triple six is just as good, which is nice.
So I'm getting +2 bonus dice.
Yep.
Oh my lord!
Is
I did not like my.
I mean,
That looks like something I would have done.
Yeah.
So if I see where this is about to go, I feel like I'm about to, stress myself while like backtracking and resisting.
Yeah. So this
this
would do
misunderstanding.
this would do that.
right, yeah. We don't need to resist that.
No.
Yeah.
Ah, that's fine. That's
Just a setback.
We're still ahead.
Yeah.
Dang, I was hoping for the 6.
What did Cricket say that screwed it up? I don't know.
I know.
More how he said it.
Yeah.
I kind of interrupted him.
The tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd imagine Cricket's like playing with like the stapler that's on his desk or something, like something he's like, yeah, there's a
I wonder what I can do with this. I think if I did this, then I could messing with it.
Yeah.
It's all in his head.
Well, it would take, of course, it would require some consensus among a few others. I would have to, consult some of my other partners. It would not. I do not make large financial decisions on my own. That is not the way we operate. We are careful about these things, and we would need some kind of assurance from you that we weren't just, that we weren't paying for something that wouldn't be worthwhile for us to pay for, or that we wouldn't be faced with trying to have to go to great lengths to collect on the debt that you would owe. As you speak, we would like to continue this, or you would like to continue this friendship, but we don't know each other very well yet, and so what could we expect from you in terms of being able to honor this arrangement?
So we're on a strange context for this sort of thing, but we're honest brokers. Your goals don't align with ours, and that's a good thing in this instance. Our goals are centered around pros, yours are not. And that's to both of our advantages. And so in this partnership, in this arrangement, you'd have the resources at your disposal with regards to this property as you need it, and that would help defray the cost of our debts to you. If the property doesn't have resources, it turns out that that are of use to you, then those would not be used to defray the cost of the debt. So that'd be a gamble, but it wouldn't be a big gamble for you. You'd stand to gain quite a lot through the use of it, but without the use of it, you'd still have the coin. You wouldn't be out anything without respect.
And as far as being able to pay it back, I certainly understand that being a concern, and making sure that you're able to get such out of us.
We could pay some down.
We can offset some of what you would be providing us, so that we're invested as well, that we're not just taking this money for no reason. But the simple fact is, we're looking to have a property, and I imagine having a property is no small responsibility, especially because it locks you to a place. So we must, to some degree, understand, as certainly your organization does, what it takes to hold such a thing, and therefore the type of coin it requires to have and hold those relationships as such with your organization. So I would think that by our even being here and taking your time, it would be a great consideration of how serious we are in this relationship and in this venture.
All right. Sarge or Puka make a sway roll, and the other one can assist if you want.
How are you at it, Sarge?
What's that?
How are you at it?
The same as you, I think, but I'd rather have you rolling the dice than me. If I screw it up, then we're all picking on me for not being able to roll dice. If you screw it up, it's just a one-off.
All right, yeah.
Anybody can roll low.
And we knew you were gonna fail, so yeah.
If you'll take the one stress, I'll take the extra die, and I'll appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, plus 2 dice. Take it.
Good. All right. Let's move this guy over here.
If we'd ever get a 6, we could get 2 of those filled, I bet.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
He liked what you had. He liked what you had to say.
Almost there. Almost there.
Just a 6 away.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I understand. It's good to hear that you are willing to invest some as well, and see this as more of a partnership rather than us doing all the preliminary work, as it were. So I think
I believe we've already done the preliminary work.
I mean the preliminary work of acquiring the property.
So there is this moment like in this conversation that like the three of you are like, reasonably, and y'all see Luca's got like this look of
I'm not reasonable.
he's a little aggravated right now, actually. He's trying to hold back, but like if you did an insight check, you could tell like he's a little bit, like in his mind, y'all can probably see it on his face, like, don't disrespect me because you don't want to be there. Like it's like that's what he's thinking right now. Is like, you need to yeah. So that was kind of that was the tone of him saying that though. I think we've already done the preliminary work, I believe.
I just mean in terms of the actual acquisition, the monetary aspect, and papers and our agreements and what we would ask you to sign.
And turning and looking to Luca, and of course their assistance in how we do this, as we have not yet done this before. And that's that very easy insight check. That's like Puka gently patting his hand and being like, "It's okay, it's okay."
This is how these things go.
I'm actually trying not to look at Sarge right now. Like he's trying not to look over like, Sarge.
Look at Sarge and walk away.
Motherfucker backhanded and disrespected me. Did you see that? I felt it. But he's trying not to look at Sarge right now. Like, but of course,
like every CO ever.
Yeah. but of course, says Luca.
Well, so may I have
flashback?
Okay, yeah.
So do we bring the documents so that we can hand them over and be like, so hey, here are the fucking documents we were going to give you, and maybe that maybe hopefully there's horrible enough stuff in there that they'll be like, oh, thank you so much, and that'll just garner a wee bit of faith there.
I think we should have him with us.
Yeah.
So Luca's mind in the beginning, he was always going to have him with him, like underneath his coat. And so I guess that's the flashback where yes. No, we can't really flash forward, so we can't really do that. But flashback is a yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I want to check in on.
Yeah.
Flashing back forward. So would you care to take a look at the documents? To us, they seem like they may be harsh things you wouldn't want, but perhaps a more discerning eye such as yours would give us a better idea of what they're worth, and hopefully a little bit of evidence of how good we are at procuring sensitive information. and therefore why we want this establishment.
Yes. Do you mind if I bring an associate of mine in to review what it is you have?
Oh, of course, that would be perfect.
And he calls for someone, and after a moment, a well-dressed woman walks in and greetings, gentlemen. Here you have some documents that may be of concern to us.
Looks to Luke.
I'll like reach in my coat and I'll pull out a single sheet and I'll hand it over to him.
Oh, or a document, I suppose. And I don't.
So it made it clear that I had more in my I just pulled out the one and they could see the rest.
I mean, I certainly don't even need to handle them if you wish to.
I put it on the table or on the whatever's there. Just.
Luca, let me go fill up your glass there, get you a drink. Anybody else need one? I'm gonna film. I'll be back.
I think this is sufficient.
Well, I mean, this is. She reads it over. I mean, this is certainly dealing with some of our business interests. I would be curious exactly, well, if the other things that you have are similar to this, or whether there's anything more or less significant.
And I just kind of pat the rest and I say, but of course, and that will certainly come out as soon as all the arrangements are made. But that information you have there is on the same level of everything else that I have here. But if I share the information with you and you've already read it, it doesn't seem like there's much coming our way yet. This is a business arrangement after all.
I mean, even if I read it, you would still have possession of the documents and could do whatever you wish with them upon leaving this place. We're not in the business of mugging people for their possessions.
There you go, buddy.
Because you're honest business.
Excuse me. All right.
Yes, we are not common.
Because you are honest business.
We are not common street
That's
thieves.
right. They are honest business people that we wish to continue to be doing business with.
Yeah, it's saying something.
Right.
Sarge has to be the voice of reason.
And so,
hey, Luca may be the voice of reason. We don't know. We might be getting ourselves under a. Yeah.
I still have heard no specifics to how your side of the arrangement is going to go. I hear talk of we'll provide you some amount of coin depending on what is there. I hear we may provide you some backing to use your shop, but I've yet to hear any specifics beyond that. So I am presenting part of our side.
Oh, so to make concrete terms. This is a good idea. This is very positive. So all he's saying is that we'll give you the rest of the information as part of the down payment, and then we'll be able to negotiate the price of that information from there. And that will work toward our debt that we are going to assume and pay off.
Well, if you would like me to discuss the terms of this arrangement with Mr. Claremont here and advise him based on what you've shown me, then I can certainly do that.
It would be appreciated.
Is why we are here.
Okay, well, Mr. Claremont, when you are ready to draw up their terms, I'll be waiting. And she leaves the room.
I actually thought we were talking to him more than we were talking to her.
So that was all her.
I wasn't really addressing her besides here's the paper,
Yeah.
but I thought he was still in the room. Like,
he was, but he was kind of stepping back, and so even if you were addressing her or him with some of those things, he would defer to her and let her answer in terms of that stuff until it got to that point.
Okay.
Well, it seems that we are nearing an agreement then.
Good. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Well-
you are willing to provide everything that you have upon signing what we draw up, I assume.
I do. I have no need for this information.
And would you be willing to allow us to verify that you have not made copies of that information?
Flashback.
Yeah, yeah.
So
As far as I know, we don't know that you did that.
Right.
do what?
So
We don't-
yeah, as far as we know, we don't know that you did that, right?
Oh, that's why I was flashing back. So yeah, I think that at some point y'all would see. So what you figured about Luca is like he's not real highly educated. So for him to copy something would probably actually take him a long time. And at some point you probably see like on the main table he's got all these papers like spread out, and he's like writing and then like crossing stuff out, and then he's writing again, and I mean, so I don't think he would necessarily tell you, but it's not like he's hiding it.
Luca, what are you doing? Part of this flashback.
I'm making a copy.
Why?
Because information is power, but I can't keep it all in my head.
Why? But I thought we were going to provide this information to the Hive and give it.
Yeah, but we may need it someday,
are.
right?
Keep your enemies close and your friends closer, or however that expression goes.
Doesn't it beg to create an enemy just to have this information and withhold a second copy of it?
Why would this create an enemy? I'm sure they won't ask to see if we have copies of it.
Well, no, it's not about whether or not to ask. It's the morals of it, right? We're providing them information that ideally is their information to have, and I thought we were trying to build a relationship here. You don't build a relationship with lies.
Well, we are building a relationship.
But no, but like a positive one.
We would keep it safe.
I'd say what they
Right.
don't. I'm not gonna go hawk it on the street for anything.
It would just be for. I mean, how do we know they're always going to be our friends? This relationship is
I mean,
Considering
tenuous at best.
Well, let me ask you this.
information we've stolen from other people in the last few weeks.
But let me ask you this. So let's say we hold on to this information, unless we plan on, no longer being well acquainted with the Hive in the next few weeks. This information is going to get quite old quite fast.
then we can
True,
dispose
but some of it may be good.
But why are we going to risk a bad relationship
How would
just
they
to
know?
have some bad information?
How would they know? Are you going to go tell them that we made a copy of it?
No, of course I'm not going to tell them. But you don't think there are means and ways?
Oh, you mean like a ghost?
Oh, whether
Damn it, I never considered it supernatural.
whether it be a ghost or you keep the information here, and it doesn't seem like people can find this place, except we know that people have, or at least that Creeper has. And so perhaps one day we're out and it's been rummaged through, right?
Luca, would you like me to copy that information down in a way that's unreadable to others?
I look at it, I'm like, I think it kind of is unreadable, but yeah, that would be that would be great, actually.
I could do something like that. It wouldn't take too long.
I still think it's a mistake to try and withhold all
We're
of
not
the
with- We'll share every bit of information we have with them that we acquire.
You know what I'm saying. To basically have the opportunity to double cross them should we want someday.
Yeah, that's power, like you said. Why would you give up power?
Power that we necessarily want, and if we're crossing the Hive, then I don't think that that's heat that we'd want either.
We're not crossing the Hive next week.
But they are currently the only people who don't, who actually like us to any degree.
Sure, great. As long as that continues, then they don't need to know about the information.
You think that we're powerful enough to withhold this kind of information?
I know that I can, yes.
And I look at this
how much information we've stolen from people more powerful than us in the last month.
Aye, but we plan on getting rid of it.
No, but what I'm saying is we were able to do that.
And so
somebody else that could steal information from us is a fiction.
right.
Now, if I do it right and don't just put it plain on paper like every other idiot, then yeah, it would be fine.
Are you talking about writing a code?
Something like that.
Like that's an entire branch.
And I feel like you can do that in one day.
Oh, I mean, the more time, the more complex it could be. But
So Puka, your qualm with this is it moral or is it fear of getting caught? Because I just need to know.
It's morals, as I've often expressed in this crew. It seems that at least one of the four of us should have some.
So
I have morals.
maybe
this main character.
I don't understand how.
Wait, back up. Why are you saying that I have morals?
Flashback in the flashback.
Well, you killed the guy that I stunned. Why'd you kill him?
Didn't somebody tell me to?
That's your morals? Is if somebody told you to?
I was following orders.
That's not morals.
What do you mean that's not morals?
So I guess I need to understand where's the immorality in this? Immorality.
I mean, Puka's right. It's not friendly, but you're also right. It's giving up power.
It's not unfriendly.
They do the same to us.
When we grow powerful enough, they're going to keep tabs on us. They may already keep tabs on us.
Aye, perhaps they do. I just thought for whatever reason you wanted better for Crowsfoot than to just become another gang. Perhaps I was right when we first started this conversation. Maybe you just want to be another gang leader.
Puka, do you think that the Hive is...
I've been pretty clear. We're a gang and I'm the leader, so if that's the...
No, but it sounded like you wanted to make more for Crowsfoot than the gangs we have. What you're offering is to do exactly what any other gang would do. You can't have better by doing worse or doing as bad.
Doing the same.
Puka, if you read the documents, that the stuff they're doing is not the good stuff that we're looking for.
I think the Hive is on the up and up, huh?
No, and I know we're not on the up and up. But still, it's that backstabbing, that double crossing, that withholding information from ones you're supposed to be, working with. Aye, that rubbed me the wrong way, as it has rubbed me the wrong way within this group, let alone between this group and some others.
Luca reaches over for a candle. He puts it down and he takes one of the sheets and he starts to just burn one of the copies.
Yeah.
That's a lot less to worry about already.
He starts burning the second sheet.
And personally, I'd go with Sarge's approach, which it shocks me that I said that as well, which is we're good enough at this that if someday we do need dirt on the Hive, I think we could probably get it. And we could probably get better than this.
But why just give it away?
We're not giving it away, we're selling it.
Aye. And when you sell something, you try and...
This coin's going to be worth more than those drugs that you're still thinking about complaining about.
Where are they? Where'd you put them?
In the past, I'm saying this is worth more than them.
So Luca burns the sheets, and then we flash back forward. And so when he says,
you research to make sure there's no copies. Of course, you would never keep copies.
Right, and we give this look to Puka, and it says, "Of course, we would never keep copies." That would be
Flashback. Cricket winks at Luca.
That would be unscrupulous.
So I would like to take you at your word. I would like to believe that you are being honest with me. And so if it's agreeable to you, then I will simply have it made a matter of record what information we received from you. And so that way we will know if any of this information should leak out, where it came from.
There,
I mean,
there is
we-
a position in there, if I may.
Of course.
We have no copies, and you have our word on that, which is, admittedly, we stole the copies from another person. But we don't have copies. But if this was, if this information existed in a different place and it were to come out and it was pinned on us, then that would be,
unfair.
yes. And so you do have our word that we have not made copies. But if something very unlucky were to happen, then we'd hate to be on the receiving end of that.
Well, we should be able to trace it to the crows if that instance came up.
And
Instead, we would like the opportunity to find out where the information came from and then punish those responsible.
so perhaps as a part of that record, it could be noted that should this information come out, it would be in our interest, as well as yours, to figure out where that information came from, because it won't have been from us.
Well,
A
I
very
would like
specific way of dealing with people who offend my friends.
Well, I would like to believe that that is a fair way to go about things. Just out of curiosity, would you be willing to have a very discreet and trustworthy agent of ours perhaps accompany you and verify that you do not indeed have any copies? And then we would know for that you do not provide this information to anyone should it come to light in some way.
Do you mind if I ask you an uncomfortable question?
No, of course not.
And I don't know if this is the term is used, but I know it's used in game. So where is the layer for the Hive? Where do you keep all your personal information and your coin and what have you?
We have many places throughout the city,
I
not just one.
I'm sure you're quite large. We're still getting started, but when you first got started, you would have been comfortable sharing the location with anyone.
Well, as I said, this would be a very discreet and trustworthy agent of ours, and we have ways of, once we've verified that the information that we wish to know, then this particular agent that I have in mind does not recall the information that he provided us or how he procured it.
Does he mind wearing?
It is a useful thing to have at your disposal.
Luca looks insulted at the question first, but then when he says that, he looks at Puka like, "What the hell is he talking about?" Like,
Does
what?
this?
And then he looks over at Cricket like, "Is this like a 9 gadget?" Like, he's got that look of like,
I need to invent one of those. It sounds cool. Does this person mind wearing a blindfold on the way there?
Of course not. That's certainly reasonable. We
How?
wouldn't want you to feel that we had violated your privacy or your means of keeping yourselves.
Actually, didn't the Hive set us up with our place?
They did.
Yeah.
Okay, then they know.
Well,
I don't know if they know or not.
Well, I mean, they
Next
said it helped us, but it's hidden. Like, I don't know that they know where it is.
Flashback to the Hive know where our place is already.
I mean, if
I missed that.
if they did, then it would be like one person within the Hive who helped you and might know generally kind of where it is, but not necessarily the specifics. But not this guy.
Yeah.
This is not who you dealt with for getting it set up. I mean, we wouldn't, as I said, we would not want to do anything that endangered your location.
Of course.
Sure. How does that work? And you can tell Puka's just fascinated. Like he's just genuinely curious. Not
He's
like
the most interested in the conversation he's been so far.
yeah. The whole rest of it was just him playing nice. This is like ooh.
We have ways of selectively removing bits of information that would be compromising if he were to be caught in the course of his endeavors.
I was curious. I've been
Sounds
working
like
on
some
something.
serious military technology.
Sorry, say again, Mike.
I said, Sarge says that sounds like some serious military technology.
I've been working on something similar to it recently. Actually, that's fascinating. I hadn't really thought anybody had quite dug into that as well.
So anyway,
Oh, sorry. Of course.
yes. If he's blindfolded and you can remove his brain or whatever you're going to do, then yes,
I don't think that's.
it would be acceptable.
I hope.
Yes.
I certainly hope that's not how they do it.
Of course, we would expect that you would see him safely there, since he would not be able to fend for himself, and see him safely out to some place that he could make his way back here from without being in any danger. Of course, you would not be responsible for him once he left your care.
You'd be well taken care of.
Well, then that satisfies that question. So if you would indulge me one more bit of information. I assume that you don't want people going in and out. I assume that you want to control access to the part of the property that you are interested in as much as possible.
Right.
Of course.
Would you desire that any of our people who wish to access it go through you, or would you be willing to allow perhaps one particular agent of ours to also have access? Someone that you would know and have contact with and would be in regular communication with you and would inform you of any time they had business that required the use of the place.
Unless in the case of emergency, in which
Right, they would seek to inform you as soon afterward as possible. But as you can see, it would be helpful for us to have someone with the ability to use it in a pinch, as it were. It would be a shame if we had someone in trouble who could not get out of trouble because they were not able to contact you expeditiously. And again, it would be one particular agent of ours. Not that we would not grant access to anyone in the Hive.
looks to Luca.
I would say that seems fine to me. We can always flashback. We can always change the locks.
Is this someone you already have in mind, or?
Yes.
I suppose that'll be agreeable.
Good.
And it would be wonderful to have someone to work more closely with within the Hive.
Yes, it would provide you with someone who has direct access to us. Should you have anything we can look into for you?
And likewise.
All right, let's do a group sway roll.
Let's do it. Let's get that 6. Oh, so close.
Oh, well close. Oh, okay.
Oh,
50% bad. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is all bad.
Oh,
Yes!
okay, Luca.
A high.
I should have put all the papers on the table.
Wow, 2211.
Hey, we're still ahead. We're still ahead.
Come on, 4 dice.
That's impressive.
We are impressed. That's
That is
correct.
really impressive.
6. You said 6. That's 2-2. That's 6. We rolled a 6. Yeah.
Oh, you explained it wrong, Josh. That's your
Yeah.
fault.
Oh, yeah, total.
I was going for a 1. I knew I had to get a 1 to add up to 6. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was supposed to go for a 6. Here, I'll be
Oh,
Between
see,
the entire
thought you
group,
were
we
just-
got 6. That's what a group roll is.
okay. I didn't understand how the way you were
See,
rolling.
Look.
6.
Oh, damn.
Okay, well, no.
All right, we failed.
Yeah, you did.
Or we just have not yet succeeded.
You've not yet succeeded. Yes.
Right.
Well, if you would give me a moment, I would like to speak to a couple of my associates, and then I will come back with some terms we can discuss.
Do you want to ask your, I didn't even get her name. Did she say her name earlier?
You did not.
Your previous associate, I don't know her name, to come back in and take a look at the rest since we seem to be nearing an accord.
If that is
I look over at Puka.
if that is amenable to you, then I can certainly call her back in to evaluate the rest of what you have.
Sure, certainly. Well, and it would actually be a wonderful learning experience for us as well. You know, we know that we gather good information, but it would be nice to know what that information is worth to particular individuals as we move forward in our adventures. Or in our ventures. We're not adventurers.
I like adventures.
This would be sort of the first trial of this information distribution.
Exactly.
Good. Sure. I will have her come in and see what you have.
Thank you.
So he calls out for her, and she comes back in the room. Yes.
I apologize. I did not catch your name before. Hello, I am Puka.
Oh, well, no apology necessary. I did not give it before.
And she still doesn't give it?
My name is Naria Savoy.
Naria, very nice to meet you.
There you go. Good to meet you as well, Mr. Puka.
I'm Luca.
Puka.
No relation.
Mr.
But no
Luca.
relation, yeah. Spelled differently.
I go by Cricket.
Okay. Mr. Cricket.
This is Sarge.
Yeah. Mr. Sarge. Well, yes, so you have more documents for me to review, yes?
Yeah, I have them out by now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she spends a few minutes reading through them, and yes, these are certainly, I'm glad these have made their way back here. Some of this is certainly information that, should it fall into the hands of some of our rivals, would put us in a bad situation.
Well, why do you think that the crows would have had this information? Are they one of your rivals?
No, but perhaps they were perhaps put up to this or tasked with retrieving it somehow by one of them. You know, we have some rivals that don't necessarily traffic in the kinds of places that, or the kinds of work that involve, I don't know, thievery or however they came across these. I would assume they must have stolen them from someone, and what that entails, I shudder to think.
If you ever know of a good opportunity for when you might need that information, that's our specialty.
Good, that is good to know. And yes, the crows, I mean, they aren't particularly fond of us as an organization. So it wouldn't take much convincing, I'm sure, for them to act against us, whether it was on their own, hoping to make some inroads, or at the behest of someone else's interest.
They're not fond of anyone.
No, they're not good at making friends.
No, they are not. Well, at least not among several circles that we know.
Not friends worth having.
No. Well, this is all very good. Again, I thank you for bringing it back, and if you would like to keep it here for the moment, then I would like to have a word, and we can discuss exactly what this means for the terms of the agreement you are forming. So we'll step out for a moment.
Wonderful.
If you don't mind.
Yes.
All right. So the two of them step out of the room.
Is there anything left behind?
I mean,
He steals it.
yeah, I mean, they leave you with all the stuff that you had. Well, other than that, I mean, this is just
not his file folder.
A parlor. No, he takes that.
Oh, I forgot it.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
I mean, it's what we do. He'd have to expect it. Come on. Am I frozen?
Oh, the binder of information.
Yeah. No, he doesn't need that.
I look at Puka when they walk out. You and your fucking morals are gonna get us killed one day.
Me and my fucking morals are going to keep us from getting killed one day.
They may have just done that.
All right. So after a couple of minutes, Claremont returns to the room and says, I believe I have all the information I need from Ms. Savoy. So I'm going to get a few people to work on drawing up our agreement and making a copy of it for your records. And then once it's complete, I will return with it and we can sign it. In the meantime, feel free to enjoy the refreshments. You can certainly stay in this room if you wish, or join the main party. And hopefully it shouldn't be too long, and we'll have an agreement for us to review.
Well, certainly appreciate it. It's been quite enjoyable.
Good talking with you, gentlemen. As do I. So yeah, so it'll be a little while they're getting the stuff drawn up, and if you want to do anything other than socializing, eating, drinking, then you can. But otherwise, he'll come back down with or
drugs.
Do some drugs.
Definitely eating and drinking.
Yeah. I mean, it's good stuff. Like, it's good food and drink.
Good food.
Yeah.
So they're just walking around hitting everybody up.
You got drugs?
Yeah. You got something? I got stuff you need to buy.
And I remember what the good food is, like mushrooms and eel. Is that right? Is
Yeah,
that what the
mushrooms.
good food is in this city?
Yeah, mushrooms are rare.
Ooh.
Yeah, and eel and some other delicacies that you don't normally get down in
Ever.
Chris, but or ever. Yeah, it's fancy stuff. Yeah, and it's very small. They're all very small bites.
There's like this. So I haven't had food this good since after the war was over.
Sorry, just going into war talk. There goes the
party. Yep. All right. So after a few minutes, he comes back down with a couple other people, and says, "May we step back into the room and discuss?"
Of course.
So we have a few items that are not settled yet. Of course, the first being how much you mentioned perhaps putting some of your own coin towards this purchase. Would you like to settle that at this time?
Let's see how much the purchase is.
Well,
we have any coin?
we can contribute 4 coin.
What do we have?
4.
Yeah.
We can throw our 4. That way we don't have to owe it later.
Yeah, I mean, then we should make coin off the red sashes information we have. So we'll get back to having some.
And then hopefully the information we just gave them is worth some coin. Like a little bit of reduction in cost or something.
Well, I think it's going towards this thing, so.
Right, but that'll help offset the cost.
Yeah.
Because we need to get up to like 11 to 15.
Part of our payment, and then 4 more coin on top of that.
Right.
That way we only owe like 6, 5, I don't know, whatever,
A score or 2.
7, yeah.
What value?
Rather than owing like 12 or 13 or 14, I don't know what interest is on a coin loan. And
well, hopefully not. Hopefully there's not interest.
Okay.
But like the relationship is the interest.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was hoping, or that the use of it could even reduce it beyond, below.
You're unscrupulous business people.
Okay. So you would be willing to provide your 4 coin towards the purchase. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, we will have to negotiate with the owner, but we would reduce your burden to us by 3 coin for the information that you've given us, as it is rather valuable. If that is acceptable to you,
Certainly.
then I will add
And does
those.
the contact you have in the inside reduce the burden at all, or conditionally?
Like the person that they can.
Inside.
Using this, like paying for the use of the portal.
My thought was, and what I had in the agreement here, which is of course open to change. That's why I brought the scribes with me. Is I was thinking as we require use of it, then we would then summarily reduce your portion that you still owe us based on our use. So each time we reap the benefit of having our associate there, then that will we will effectively be paying you through reducing what you continue to owe us, if that is reasonable.
By what amount, and what after we have paid the debt to you, then what happens?
Then we make arrangements on a case-by-case basis. Again, we don't know how much we will need to use this location, but if we do, then we will, of course, be in contact with you about what arrangement is fitting for what we've used it for.
Seems like a fair business deal to me.
That seems like a fine point for negotiation later.
Wonderful. So the terms are you will provide your 4 coin, and we will reduce an additional or subtract an additional 3 from the eventual purchase, and the remainder will be what you owe to be reduced as we use it. You will be owners. The deed will be in your name. So we will have the deed belonging to any one of you or all 4 of you if you wish. We would just need your legal names to put on the deed, and then it will belong to you. The property will transfer to you, and the only agreement you will have at that point is with us. We will allow you to make decisions about Mr. Brannon's involvement in the business, if you wish to keep him on or do something else. That is up to you, of course. That is not any of our concern. And in terms of management of the property, that is up to you as well. We will have no hand in that aside from, as we've mentioned, using it on occasion as needed. And of course, part of this Also, we've put it in writing here that you are allowing our agent to be led to your place of business blindfolded, and that we agree that we will remove any memory he has of that once we've verified from him that you don't have copies of the information that you're providing us. You will provide us with the copies of the information that you've brought with you here tonight. And I believe that covers everything that we've discussed. Is there anything I'm missing, gentlemen?
Sarge looks over at Luca.
Once the legalese started, Luca kind of got lost, so he just kind of nods his head. I gotta even get a full crew so I can, have people do this for me. Please.
That sounds exactly as we've discussed.
Wonderful. Then I will sign both copies, and he signs his name and prints it underneath. And if you would also print and sign your legal names on both copies, one will be for you to keep, and one will be for our records.
Patrick O'Shea signs.
Oh. Lucas scrawls.
What my last name is? Did I have a last name? Let me find it. Oh, Shield. Yeah, that's right. I was Austrian. Yeah.
Like a shield.
Oh, accent. Yeah.
These guys, I don't need to sign, right? I'm not.
No.
Luca, it's all yours.
That is fine.
I don't want the building in my. I don't want anything in my legal name.
I sign it with my right.
In blood.
With an L.
A big bloody L on there. You put the bloody L on there?
No. There's not even an L in my name.
What is your name?
I don't have a last name. I don't know what the last name is.
No last name. Just Finn. So after you sign it, the two scribes finish it. They fold up your copy and put it in an envelope and seal it and hand it to you. And they take the other copy and leave the room. And do you have did you guys bring your coin with you? Or are you giving them the coin now?
No, I don't. I mean, I imagine not.
Okay.
We'll give it to the guy.
Yes, if you would send the coin with our agent when he leaves, that would be fine.
All right.
Well then, gentlemen, I thank you for your visit and for our business, and I look forward to seeing what you are able to do with your newfound property.
As are we. Thank you so much.
Yes, I will let you know as soon as we have the deed. I will have word brought to you. I understand that we can get word to you through a Rigneys.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I will have that delivered to you with all the necessary paperwork, and it will be yours. It should not take but a few days at most.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your hospitality and for your assistance in this.
Of course, and feel free to stay as long as you wish, at least until we shut down, of course. And then whenever you're ready to leave, let me know, and I will have our agent ready to go. All right.
All right.
Boom. Done.
Haha.
Look at that.
That's how you take turf.
Yep.
With 10.
Socially, that's how you
Take a big
socially-
loan.
Flashback in that conversation somewhere.
Big old bank loan.
I mean, it's not that big.
Did he ever explain?
I mean,
how,
we've been getting coin pretty quickly. We just spend it pretty quickly.
did
Right.
he ever explain how he's buying the building from this guy? Isn't that what he said? No,
Yeah.
that's not. Okay.
I mean, he said he's going to do it.
Yeah. Like, what if the guy doesn't sell? Or
I don't think that that's actually an option.
right. So
They'll
that's
offer enough. They're offering
Yeah.
enough to make it happen.
They're gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Like 15 would be
Right.
ridiculous. That's kind of what they imply. Like,
Yeah, because I mean that's a lot of coin, right? In this world, like 15 would be like
It's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, and like 10 coin is a significant asset. So like, you know, and one of the things that actually is a deed to a small property is a significant chunk of money. So yeah, 10 is a lot. You know, just to put it in perspective, 8 coin is like a monthly take for a small business. So this is more than a month's worth of income from a
and this is
small
down in
business.
Crowsfoot, where that's even more a lot of.
So, you know, they'll you know, you'll see what the price ends up being that they negotiate with. But yeah, I mean, you did get the sense from talking to him that they will be able to purchase it. Like, it's not really something that they aren't able to do when they need to.
Yeah,
Especially in Crowsfoot. Like this, I mean, down there is like they're used to buying properties in better places.
worth a lot more.
Yeah, so it's not going to be a problem.
So now we're indebted to the Hive.
Not for that long.
That's
we
fine.
might have made
That's
a
fine.
steady source of income if
Three
might.
subs.
this
And we're
actually
going to
continues.
immediately be able to sell that information using our covert drop.
You have a
Right.
covert
I mean,
drop.
You guys
Yeah.
can say all the things you want to. And Luca's mine, we just got seriously fucking disrespected. I'm sorry. That's just
Yeah.
Spiritual thing we could have gone through.
I'm just saying. Listen, I didn't say there was a better solution. I'm just saying, like in Luca's mind, like you know, we are now in debt to the Hive. You know,
So
Give it a few more tiers, we'll be equals.
do what?
Give it a few more tiers, and we'll be equals.
Right. I know, and that's why, like,
Yeah, but you know, that makes sense.
if this were like 5 years ago for Luca, there's no way he ever would have agreed to it.
Right.
Like, because you know, but he's like, this is how these long-term things work.
Starting a business.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
investing.
there you go.
Right.
Got to spend money
Yeah.
and make money.
That's right.
So a couple things I just want to do before we wrap up for tonight. So that you know that when you're done at the party, they do send this guy back with you, and he's very like when he gets back there, you know, he allows you to just lead him in and take the blindfold off, and then he just asks you to help him look around. Like he doesn't go ransacking your stuff. He just asks you like, show me places where you might keep things. I just want to take a look, and he'll be as hands off as you want. He just wants to look and verify like they don't have anything hidden in here. And he'll do a little like looking around of his own if you let him, just to be like, I want to verify that there's no hidden compartments or anything in here. You know, I'm kind of good at looking for that kind of stuff. But, you know, he doesn't find anything because you guys don't have it. And then
No.
and then he just asks you to walk him back to a particular spot. And as long as you don't do anything funny, like he just lets you put the blindfold back on, you lead him out. You take it off, he thanks you, and just leaves.
With 4 coins.
With 4
We
coins.
gave him,
Yep.
yeah.
Coin. Cool. And then a few days later, you get a message that somebody's waiting for you at Rigny's, and it's a Hive agent who just basically has a folder of stuff for you and hands it to you and wish you well, and leaves, and you open it up and it's a deed to Brennan's Butcher Shop. And also
I'm assuming it's written like any kind of deed though, so it's like heretofore on the
yeah, it's
17th.
all the
Yeah.
yeah.
So I started to read it and I'm like, fuck, I just handed to Poop. Or Crick. Like whoever's like, I just handed to one of y'all. Like, hate
Yep.
this.
And there are a couple
He
keys.
didn't want to sign it, so I handed to Puka. Yeah.
Got
And
your
there
name
are-
on it.
Yeah, it does. And there are a couple keys in the envelope as well.
And what's our debt?
So the deed, the purchase price is. Wait, hang on. This will be better if I do it secretly. And just it'll be great. Don't worry. All right. So it does have that on there that they purchased it for 12 coin.
Okay, so 5
Of which
coin
we
debt.
already paid off 7.
Yes.
So we owe
Our
5.
debt is 5 coin.
Okay, I put that on Gus Skamoose.
I just did that too.
Perfect.
Well, don't put it on there twice.
You owe 5 coin and 5 coin.
Where'd you put it?
I put it right. Well, I had put it. It disappeared. I put it on +1 status, like merchants and the leader, but I like where you put it.
No, I want to go see where y'all put it.
Deed to Brandon's butcher shop. Okay,
At the bottom.
I see it at the bottom of the box.
Where did you put it, Mike?
He put it down there with a deed. Deed to Brandon's butcher shop, debt 5 coin.
Oh, where did you put it then?
Oh, I'd put it at the top with the status that we had with Hive.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I'm assuming at some point that you go check out your new property.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you go there, oh wait, I can hang on. Check this out. We can go boop a boo.
We go there.
Look at that. We're there.
He's a cleaver.
He is a cleaver. So
Yeah.
so he's not there. So you do have a key. It's locked up. But you have a key to get in.
We already had a key to get in.
Well, we had a key for one of the doors at
Yep.
least.
We also have a key we're supposed to have.
Yeah.
So now you have a front door key, and so you're able to go in the front.
So yeah, go take a look in the right room.
I want to go see what they're talking about.
All right. Oh, now I got to remember how to undo this.
Reveal area.
Oh, let's see. How do I do this? There's a way to do this. Oh, okay. Reveal areas. To do. All right. So you go in there, and that's like he's got that big butcher table,
Mm-hmm.
and there's 2 other doors.
We'll go left first.
Go
Yep.
left.
Okay.
We know it's in the back. It's just the back. Let's go left.
All right. So, boom. You go in there, and it's a storeroom. So it's cold, and there's big slabs of meat hanging off hooks on the ceiling, and there's a door in the back that looks like, I don't know, probably where stuff comes into this room.
So is our agreement? Does the butcher keep his business income completely, or do we actually get some business income from the front as well?
I think he'd pay rent.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess we'll talk to him.
Yeah, that's part of what you need to work out with Brandon, how you're going to let him run his business. Because this building's yours. So.
Man.
And who did? So I mean, looking at the deed, who did we buy it from?
You bought it from Brandon.
Okay, got it. All right, we'll check out this other room.
So he sold it, but he's still working here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
If we want him to,
As long as
I assume we do.
Yeah.
We don't want.
I don't know. He tried to kill y'all. I don't know if we.
I didn't really try to kill us.
I mean, he threw cleaver. Okay.
He's trying to scare us.
It was one cleaver.
Yeah.
He didn't really kill a cleaver.
All right. So this is an office.
Put it in.
So it's got a desk and a couple chairs. Little cabinet.
But is it noticeable that there seems to be a difference in?
So Cricket might notice that.
I guess I don't know that Puka would notice it.
What?
Except
Yeah, I don't know if you want us to roll to notice, but I might notice that.
we all know that we're looking for a way downstairs.
Yeah. And there's a door.
Okay.
There.
Oh, it's
There's
not
a
a secret door.
yeah. So there's a door.
Here.
Yeah,
There's a door?
that's a door.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. So I'm at the front of the stairs.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Open the door to the
Open that
stairs.
door.
So that door is locked,
Try
Sure.
the keys.
and none of your keys seem to fit that one.
Even the ones we took off Needle.
Try Needle's keys.
So Needle
Yeah.
has a key that does fit that door.
Yeah, try that. Yeah.
All right.
We just start like trying keys until
Yep.
like we get the Needle's key. Yeah.
There's a stairwell that goes
Uh.
down.
Sweet.
Go down.
All right.
So you go down the stairs, and if I did this right, you can see this room.
Yeah.
But we can't see the labels that you have on your screen.
Good. You can only see those on Twitch. Great. Can't keep anything a
Needle
secret.
player.
This seems like exploration for next session.
Yeah. So you come down this stairway, and there's this big room that's basically the size of the whole shop, and it's open. And there are several tunnels that lead out of this room. Can't tell, they're dark, so you don't know where they go. The other weird thing that's going on in the middle of this room is Brannon is there, and there's another individual there that you don't recognize. And laying in the middle of the floor is a body. It is a dead body. And the weird thing about this is that as you come down the stairs, they look up. I mean, they look at you and are like, have this, oh shit, look. Like, what are they doing here? And the body has several chains laced over it. And Puka, you get a very strong spirit energy from those chains. And they come to so basically they cross the body, and where they come together, there's another chain that is that the person you don't recognize is holding in one hand, and they're holding a spirit jar over it. And this person is muttering strange things in a language that you don't recognize.
Good.
And that's what you see in the basement.
Yes.
And that's
Sweet.
what we'll find out all about next time.
I might get to use a gun next week. This will be
Yeah.
Now these guys sound like great employees.
Yeah.
Yep, real good. Yeah. So,
No, I don't mind having these two as part of our game.
so that's it for this week's Blades in the Dark.
Right.
You got
Alright.
some turf.
Yeah.
Thing.
So yeah, so we'll
Well-
pick up with the results of this score next time beyond what you've already seen, which is a little bit of it. And then we'll see what you do with this. Well, I guess we'll see what you do with this first, because this seems kind of immediate, maybe. And then we'll see the results of our next score. So if you tuned in and watched along with us, thanks. And we'll be back on Thursday with D&D, which left on a similar enticing cliffhanger.
Mhm.
We'll see what's in that next room, and probably all die.
Yeah.
No.
No, well, no, everyone except Ephelis, and whoever he drags out will die, or will retreat. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, thanks everybody, and we'll see you on Thursday for D&D, and next weekend for more Blades in the Dark. Night.
Bye.
Good night.
Night.